That's pretty cool.
This meeting is being live streamed.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Giving this just a second to come on up here. There we go. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Southwest Florida TechNet and or the Tech Team TechNet, whatever we're going to call the thing. We're going to unlocalize it soon. As it services people far outside the Southwest Florida area. So anyway, tonight, first thing we're going to do right off the top is we're going to be discussing how to do some things here on YouTube. And I'm not just on YouTube, but on Zoom. We've had 2 incidents now where people have come in and they were just, being jerks or whatever, and decided they were going to
Play games,
flash anatomy or whatever, trying to get us in trouble. And what they don't seem to understand is it's the intent that counts. And I don't think that's going to be a problem, but I do want to get them out of here as quick as we can. So rather than belabor the fact, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask Chris and 1 or 2 of the Daves and probably Rick, if you guys can be co-moderators with me tonight.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is just to show you guys here. Is that Dave from Bonita? Who is that? Which Dave is that?
UG4K.
Okay, so
Lehigh Acres.
oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, Dave. But what I can do is I'm going to make all 3 of you guys, because I know who you are. I'm going to make you co-hosts. And what that means is now you can kick people out of the Zoom meeting. So I'm making you all 3 a co-host. Now, what you want to do is now that you're a co-host, if you hover over someone else, you'll see 3 little dots pop up to the upper right. Do you see that? You see that if you hover over somebody, it'll say mute, and then it will give the 3 dots.
Yeah.
I don't see anything yet.
Yeah, you just hover over any of the pictures and you'll see mute or unmute, and then you'll see 3 dots. If you hit those 3 dots, it'll show you right there, remove. It's the bottom one.
Now I can right click and I get a window that comes up and says mute audio, stop audio, chat, pin video, spotlight for everybody, but I don't see any dots.
Well, it's the little menu button. Each screen should have one when you hover over it.
It doesn't come up.
On Zoom. You're on the Zoom and you see we're all in Brady Bunch mode. You can see everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when you hover over each person, there should be a little blue thing in the upper right corner that says mute. And then there's another little square that has 3 little dots in it.
Yeah. Well, if I do a right click, I get a little window that says mute audio, stop video. So I can
Yeah, that's fine. You can stop somebody's video from there.
Yeah.
But if you scroll down to the bottom, as long as they're not a co-host, you can remove will come up and you can remove them from the thing completely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see it now.
Yeah. So it depends on who you're
this
hovering
is what
on.
I did last week.
Right.
I got rid of one of our funny boys last week doing this,
One of our burrito Bronco Buster boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't know who they are. Yeah, go ahead.
One stipulation. If they're females coming in showing body parts, we can hit record, okay?
Well, if they're doing that, we'll just shut the YouTube down and we'll keep partying. But if it's oversized dudes in a dorm room, I'm not really interested.
Maybe.
So anyway, tonight we're going to do a bunch of different things. But I wanted to start off with just showing you guys how to do that. And I think I've made everybody that's in here so far, all 6 of you, the ones I can see anyway. I don't know.
All been deputized.
You've all been deputized, and feel free to use it. I know you won't abuse it.
Okay.
Yeah, don't kick people out because of political beliefs, because that might include me. Who knows? But the main thing is
Ed Markey.
Listen, first sign of trouble, I don't, this isn't a business. Nobody gets paid for this. First sign of trouble, just kick them out. I really
They're
don't. If we accidentally kick somebody out that, oh, I just happened to have my ass out when I popped into the meeting, well, we'll just deal with that later.
Yeah.
But for right now, if in doubt, knock them out.
Yeah.
And let's just not have that problem again within our meetings, because I hate that. I just hate that.
The way he did it was so clever. Just when you got into something interesting, about wavelengths and measurements, it was like, hello, remember me? I'm back. And that was like, it hit my stuff up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My stuff was agitated.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, what a doucher.
I saw what was going on. That's when I blipped him one time. So got rid of him.
So,
it reminds me of Stalin's grave. It was a communist plot too.
Yeah.
It was a communist plot. That's pretty funny, I got to admit. Well, I got to tell you guys, I've decided tomorrow I'm going to see some coworkers that moved away and they're back in town visiting. I'm going to groom tomorrow. I'm actually going to shave my mustache. I look like
let's see.
I got my 70s chew going here, and or a Fu Manchu, whatever you want to call it. And I've also, my hair is it's just incredibly long. So tomorrow I'm shaving it all off. I haven't shaved since before the storm. I've shaved, but I haven't done my mustache or my hair. It's kind of a weird thing. It's like this storm, it kind of changes everything for a little while, and you have to kind of get back into the swing of things. It does. So anyway,
the mustache.
huh?
The mustache. is
No,
coming out?
I won't shave it off, but I'll trim it way up.
Okay.
Not quite to a Hitler, but I mean, I'll shave it up pretty good.
Might be able to go over and take over Cuba.
Yeah, there you go.
They need a
You
new
look a
dictator.
lot like Cheech Marin.
Hey man, you know what I mean? It's not so bad. But anyway, you gotta love me some Cheech and Chong. All right, so tonight we're going to Joseph is going to be doing the second half tonight, and I'm doing the first half. I've got an early day tomorrow, and I've had a busy day today, and I've still got a show to produce tonight and put in before I go to bed. So like last time, I'm going to work the first shift, and he's going to do the second shift. So I'm going to hang out for an hour and a half, and then I'm going to let you guys go with Joseph. He, as you can see there in the, depending on which Brady Bunch screen you're in, and you can see there in his screen, that he's going to show you guys, actually solder this up live for you guys tonight. It won't take just a little while. And he's going to actually solder this up tonight. But they're actually doing some decorating with the family right now. So I told him to take the first half off, and I'm going to take the second half off. So we're going to do it that way tonight. But he'll be in about 9, and he's going to solder this up. And then after that, he's going to show you the programming side of Allstar.
Yeah.
Allstar. Yeah. Listen, has anybody, one of you guys showed me that dongle that gets you on DMR, D-Star?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to use one of those yet? Do you use it? And because I'm wanting to know, what I'm wanting to know is something that you may not be able to answer for me, or you may, I don't know. But what I'm trying to figure out is, if I really want to, how do I connect using that device, a node, connect a radio or however we want to do it to a like DMR or something? Can we do that? You know what I'm saying? Can we make like a repeater out of it? I don't know. This is something that we're having a hard time with, because what I want to do, Joseph has got his 2 meter up there up and running, and he's got it hooked into a room, and we're going to start trying to hook everything into this room, so that it's all like one big node system that's all connected together. What we want to do is we want to start including other modes, other digital modes, fusion and different ones. by running it through a Windows machine is kind of what we want to do. Now, whether we can do that or not, I'm not sure. I'm past where Joseph and I have gone, so we don't know. We're not really sure exactly how we're going to accomplish this, but what we want to accomplish is to connect our node system to as many different bands and modes and towns and everything as we can. And so I don't know if anybody has any experience with anything like that, but that's basically what we're trying to do, is instead of just talking on the computer into the DMR network or whatever, we want to use the computer to connect our Allstar node to one of those digital modes that's dialed into a room, basically. And we would like to have a room on there. Does that make sense?
Yes. What the dongle consists of, it's very specific on its connection points. Obviously, I'm sure you realize it's all over the internet. It's not on the air type.
Oh yeah, no, I get that, and we're wanting to connect it. Yeah.
But it like, for instance, let's take DMR. It uses the Brandmeister system. And so therefore, the only stuff that you can do without knowing how to program is go to one of the Brandmeister talk groups.
Right.
And the same with D-Star and YSF. You just have to, I don't know if you're familiar with D-Star at all, but you have to pull up a specific reflector. There's, REF, XLX, XREF, all different kinds of reflectors. It connects to those. So you would have to ally yourself with one of those reflectors, of which there are hundreds, and they don't get used. So you have to find out who owns one and then suggest what you might want to do with it, and tell them they can put their part of the town on the map as well. Something like that is possible. As far as it's fairly direct in its built-in software, firmware, and the software that you use to operate is called Blue DV, which you could download and look at.
Right.
But without that plugged in, it won't do anything. But so basically, it is possible. You would have to talk to someone who knows those things a little deeper, because we were able to add the local D-Star repeater to the database, which I couldn't figure out how to do with DMR or YSF, but with D-Star I could add a reflector because it wasn't on there. And that was one of your old buddies who figured that one out, that we don't want to bring up their name.
No, probably not. That's
but at any rate, it is possible, I think, with some work, to use those. You're going to have a dedicated computer for it anyhow somewhere, right?
Yep.
All it needs is a USB.
I have several. Yeah, I've got several computers. I'm going to use some for my nodes. I'm going to use others for this, to hook all this stuff together. Whatever I have to do, I'm wanting to make this. I'm all in on this. I'm not doing hardly anything else with amateur radio right now. I'm putting my hex beam back up. If I wasn't busy, I would probably do the sweepstakes this weekend. We'll talk about that later. It's one of the better contests this weekend.
You still have a DMR ID?
Yes, I have a DMR ID.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So I want to figure out how to do all that, but I got to admit, this stuff is deep, and some of it may be too far over my head. I don't know. It seems like some pretty deep stuff. I wanted to mention real quick, you notice behind me, all my screens, if you guys notice something weird about them, I found this hour-long video, it's 10-hour-long video of the
ENG.
Yeah, of basically the LCARS system from a starship. The E-class starship is actually what this is from, which is the one from the later Next Generation movies. But it's basically just a YouTube video playing over in different screens from different things. But what a neat effect. And I'm going to eventually have this to where I can put this on all the screens. So when I do pictures and stuff, it'll look really cool in here. I have 21 screens now, and I think it would look really cool. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys kind of what it looks like when it's all running. They're basically videos. I'm working with upright monitors. I always wondered if I would like an upright monitor or two. And so I turned one of my monitors upright just to try it out for a while. And I set it on portrait instead of landscape. And I duped it over to this one back here, which is another 32-inch screen that was donated to me this week. I get all I have to do is look up and say, I need another 32-inch TV, and one falls out of the sky pretty much. They're real easy to get right now because everybody's buying 42s and 52s and 62s, and so the 32-inch screens are considered
So
way
where do
too
they have
small.
room for all of these billboards?
Yeah, well, hey,
If I wanted one of those, I'd want to put it up outside so I could flash stuff at the traffic going by on the bridge.
you reach critical mass. Most of us live in normal size homes.
Yeah.
And we don't live in Naples. And so we a 50-inch is generally big enough. I got a 50-inch in my bedroom, and then I got underneath the 52-inch, which we use for Roku. Underneath that, I have a 42-inch, which is my security camera screen. Basically the same one that when I'm in this view that you is it the
Behind
same?
me is one of the two biggest screens I have. They're both 32s.
Yeah. Well, as my eyes get older, I prefer the bigger screens. I have to tell you. Oh, look what episode's on. It's the second pilot up there, Star Trek on H&I tonight. I love that there's still 5 hours of Star Trek every Monday through Friday on H&I, and it goes out over the airwaves. And it's neat that all the Star Treks still air over broadcast television every weeknight. I think that's amazing. The one that's on right now up there, for those of you who are Trekkies at all, that is the second pilot where no man has gone before, and that's why some of them are wearing the wrong colored shirts and stuff. But anyway, they made the first pilot. Remember, they made the first pilot, and NBC rejected it. They said it was too cerebral. And so they wrote the second pilot, which is a little more Wagon Train to the Stars, and they liked that. And so that's what they ended up with going forward. And then after they showed the first two episodes, which was the second one was the Naked Now and the Naked Time. And the first one, they ended up showing the Salt Vampire as the first episode because the graphics for this one was not done yet. And so this ended up being the third episode, even though technically it was the second pilot. Anyway, a little bit of trivia there. All right. So anyway, I want to talk to you guys about Windows tonight a little bit. It's important that we kind of go over that just a little bit. Remember those blue auroras I told you guys about? We talked about, it was like a week or two ago. There was a big mystery. Yeah, there was a mystery surrounding those auroras. And they figured out what it was finally. Believe it or not, it's actually was Russian. It was exhaust from a Russian missile, and it created that effect right there that you see. And of course, those are real northern lights behind it. So it made for a really beautiful display that was half natural and half man-made. So I've got kind of the conclusion to that story in this week's newsletter, compliments of spaceweather.com.
So Vladimir really did this.
Yeah, I mean, it was nothing. I don't believe it was anything that was shot in anger. I think it was it just was what it was. But but anyway, so that there's that. And let's see, let's go on. I got to tell you guys, what a nice morning. Oh man, it was cool. It was
Wow.
cool this morning. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be cool again. Not quite as cool. 62 for us here. And then we got some, like maybe some rainy days coming up. So I just wanted to mention that. But no aluminum alerts. The highest wind day is going to be Sunday, with maybe a few gusts up to 15. So no big aluminum alerts right now. And
Better than 150.
yeah. And this guy right here, I think this guy right here lives in Huntsville. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's a Radio Karen. But anyway, so the social network there, that was the first social network with CB Radio. The World of DX, I've updated it for you in here. The swap shop is next weekend. And there's some ham events. There's only one this weekend. That's Swamp Fest Open House, Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And you can check that out. All the information on all these ones coming up. I love these antenna sunset pictures. Can you tell? I don't know why. Are you guys seeing this?
Nope.
Oh, you're not.
All
Well,
I'm seeing is,
oh,
there we go.
well, you guys need to let me know when you're not
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
stuff, because I didn't realize that it did. I
Oh, yeah.
clicked it and it's still sitting there on the screen ignorantly. Anyway, yeah, we got Swamp Fest Open House coming up this weekend. Starts tomorrow. And then the next one is not till the following weekend in Palm Beach County. I also, I don't know if anybody listens to shortwave WTWW from like Tennessee area, but they have gone silent. So they have shut down. They went QRT for the last time. So I just didn't know if anybody knew about that station. There's actually an article in the newsletter about it. And they're finding out that disc shape, like UFO shapes, that's actually a great shape for satellites, for small satellites. And so maybe the aliens are on to something. Anyway, they've got this thing in Wales virtually. I got some other things in here. Hamvention chooses innovation as the theme for 2023. And Joseph and I were kidding around today about what we thought this year's word should be for Hamvention, and it should be "don't let it die." But anyway, there you go. Or maybe, I don't know. We'll just leave it there. Anyway, the Artemis, they got the Artemis off. Do you believe this? They finally got it up. We talked about this tonight on the drive, and it was really good. It was a great launch. I think who told me they saw it? It did. Chris, didn't you say you saw it?
Yep, I sure did.
Well, it's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was pretty scary. I mean, you start thinking about. I've seen both of the Challenger incidents, and I've seen a lot of footage of rockets taking off that blow up before they get too far. So it was nerve-wracking.
You get that funny feeling in about 70 seconds, I guess.
Yeah, but it was cool.
Yeah, it's going to be neat. And this is the test that's required to make sure that this launch system and this lunar landing system and everything is going to work to hopefully save the guys and make sure we don't have a problem. It does have that same, this is a tried and true system. I got to tell you guys, this system is not that dissimilar to to the same ones that took them to the moon in the 60s. I mean, this is basically the same thing. You've got a capsule here with the 3 guys sitting in it. This is an escape rocket up here. I don't know if you guys know what this is for.
Oh,
but
yeah.
at a certain point during the launch, they can signal an abort, and it will fire explosive bolts down here and shear off the top part where they're at. And then this thing has 3 rockets on it. You can see them here in the diagram. Those rockets fire and pull the crew capsule up away from the rocket, where parachutes would then be deployed. And hopefully the rocket will go one way and the guys will go the other. And we can get them away from it before it blows up or hits them. But that's what that's for. That's the escape system, basically. And so when they talk about an abort, they can fire this system and abort. I don't think it's ever been used. I don't believe it's been tested, but I don't think it's ever been used under human circumstances. Anyway, but
You
there's
know, why they put that on?
no, tell us.
After the I cannot remember the name of the mission and the number of the mission, but it was pre Saturn V, I think, or no, it was early Saturn V testing when they had the electrical fire and the crew all burned up in the
That was Apollo
capsule.
1, yeah.
Apollo
Well,
1,
all of the astronauts in line put tremendous pressure on them and said, "We're not going up in that thing until you make us a way to escape."
Yeah.
And it turns out that whether that thing actually works or not doesn't matter as long as I know that it's there for them. So
There's that, and they got several things out of that. They also got explosive bolts that they can blow from the inside.
that's right.
Yeah, and I mean it's I remember a movie called The Right Stuff from back in the 80s, early 90s. That's a great movie. And the scene that always brings me back in that movie was when the German scientists are standing there with the astronauts and they're saying the capsule occupant will sit here and he will sit there and do nothing. And they're like, do you mean the test pilot will sit there? You know, the astronaut, and they kept correcting these scientists. They kept calling it the capsule, and he goes, you mean the spaceship? It was a funny scene because they kept correcting these scientists that were using all these sterile words. But anyway, what a great thing. I guess I will tell you this. The funny part to me about this whole thing is here we go. 53 years later, we're doing the exact same thing we already did again. Now, the moon conspiracy people, we never went to the moon. Those people are having a heyday right now. See, I told you, now we're finally going for the first time. You got those folks over here. You got folks over here going, okay, so when we were racing the Ruskies up there, it didn't matter. We were just shooting people up as quick as we could shoot them up. It didn't really matter. And then it took 53 years to do it again under normal circumstances. I mean, that's pretty much what we're talking about here. You know, the setbacks that the space program got, the big setbacks that set back the space program. And you look back and Apollo 1 was not really a setback. You know why? They didn't care. They kept right on making them spaceships. They were going to go up. They were going to beat the Russians, beat them to orbit, beat them to the moon, beat them to Mars, beat them to Pluto, whatever. And that's what they were all, that's all they cared about. Now, by the time we got to Discovery, that was a setback. That set our space program back years and years. I used to hate the thought of privatization of space. I used to hate the thought. The government, that's NASA. That's our space program, rah, rah, rah. But you know what I'm learning and what I've learned and what seems to be the truth is that, honest to God, the best space program is a privatized space program. It gets more done. And then people say, yeah, but all they're interested in is profit. Yeah, and look what it gets done. It gets everything done. If we go to space because we're heroes and we're using tax money, that's only going to go so far. The hero shit runs out after a while. The tax money runs out after a while. If we find a reason to go to space, a commercial reason like commercial tourism, space tourism, or maybe we find something we can use like helium-3, or maybe even mining asteroids from Moonbase Alpha. You know what I'm saying? This kind of stuff is all possible out there. And once the private sector sees down the road 10 years, they could have a base here that's operating, that's pulling back this resource that is worth a lot of money and converting it into something that could be brought back to Earth relatively easily. you know, a lot of this stuff, all it has to do is be packaged up with enough density. You just drop it in the ocean and go pick it up later. There's a lot of things that could be sent back to Earth, that could be used here, that could be harvested elsewhere. And this is where the future of space lies, is in finding a reason to go, a monetary reason to go, and then using that as the platform to springboard us going to the next and the next and the next. That's how we have to do it. It can't just be, we're going to spend X amount of our budget this year on building government rockets to send government workers to space. That's running out. And look what these guys are doing now, Elon Musk and the like. Look what they're doing. They sent Bill Shatner to space, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, you know,
Right.
Captain Kirk, you know, and he sat in the middle seat. That was the thing that really got me. He sat in the middle seat. I mean, come on. Anyway, so that was what I wanted to tell you guys about. I think that the Artemis is a big deal. I think it's a good deal in as much as I made fun of it. I'm not against it. Oh, listen to me. Sorry if I made everybody else yawn. But
he brought that plate in, Bez there, when he brought that plate in, I thought he had a flying saucer.
That's where I wanted it to be.
well, he's continuing Joseph's tradition of eating dinner on the air. Yeah,
I think it's great.
I think it's awesome. Yeah.
I'm going to do a culinary show coming up. I miss Fifth Avenue in Naples. I must have spent $1 million on that avenue when I lived there.
There you go. And let me tell you something. I would love to do a cooking segment. I think that would be awesome.
He's probably like me, a microwave madman.
Well, I actually am both. I'm a frozen food terrorist if I need to be. But I'm gonna tell you something else that's true about me is I can cook very well. I was a fireman for 17 years. You cannot be a fireman for 17 years and not know how to cook. And we had a rule at my station the entire time I was there. And it was a really cool rule. It was, if you cook, you don't have to do dishes. And so at 18 years old, I'm going back home a couple days a week and cooking dinner at my mom's house for them. And she would show me how to cook all the meals that I grew up with. And then I'd go back to the firehouse and I would cook like crazy for those guys. And they got to where they loved my cooking. And I was the cook, man. We had volunteers that would come and stay on my shift just because I was the better cook. I love cooking. I do. I think it's awesome. However, I don't cook gourmet food. I cook Southern style shit. I cook hardened arteries type deals, and I cook firehouse food. Most everything I cook has some kind of gravy or sauce that comes with it. And yeah, you know, I'm one of these people. I'm a condiments guy. Like if I go to a barbecue restaurant, my plate will look like a painter's palette. It'll have the 4 different sauces, some ranch, some ketchup, maybe a little mustard, some mayonnaise. And then I mix the fries through it, you know, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and get a nice color going there between the ranch and the spicy, you know, and you get that going. Yeah. Look, condiments were made to be done like paints on a palette. You gotta get just the right mix. One of the neatest places up in the mountains, it's about an hour from my cabin to the east, so we don't go there very often. They're big, you know how every barbecue restaurant has a claim of fame because it's all the same food, right? It's all the same 12 things. It's baby back ribs, it's sliced pork, sliced chicken, sliced beef. I mean, but we all love our barbecue restaurants. What makes them different is the sauce. And this barbecue restaurant, you walk in, they have 50 sauces. They have 50 barbecue sauces. They even have one that's Everglades barbecue sauce. And it was so good. I would go in there and I like ask for an extra plate. And I go up there and I've got like 12 little squirts on a plate. I'm like, I'm starting with this. But that was just the neatest place. I love condiments. Condiments are where it's at, really. I mean, food is basically only as good as the condiment you smear it in. Anyway,
You ever try to have a naked hot dog?
I don't even much like hot dogs, to be honest with you. My father used to call them lips, tits, and assholes. But there's really not much good for you in a hot dog. It's
No, it's nasty.
what I call it is sweepings. You sweep up the day at the end of the day and throw it in a barrel and press out a few hot dogs. But you just get the hair out, mostly the dirt and the hair. But anyway, but you want to hear something weird? For a guy that will not eat hot dogs, I will fry up 2 hot dogs and throw them in baked beans and make beanie weenies.
That's how you do it. You fry them as opposed to what I do, which is the classic cooking method, which is to get them black. I mean, not carcinogenically black, but black enough.
Oh, I like carcinogenically black. No, I if I could barbecue them, I would, but I don't. I can't do that readily. So I fry them instead. Even a hot dog has hidden flavor inside that you can bring out with the right cooking process. Yeah. And I try to buy a little better hot dogs too, not those real cheap ass kid hot dogs. Get some ballparks or something decent. Yeah, anything, any kind of decent hot dog anyway. Oh, well, and then there's our cooking segment for tonight, and next week, pot roast on a budget, which means we'll leave the meat out. All right. And
you didn't eat before this, you're going to be so hungry, you're going to eat your monitor.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The only people benefiting from the high prices at the grocery store are the vegans, because the meat is what's going up the quickest.
Yeah.
The meat
Even
is
chicken.
Yeah.
Holy.
And the milk's like $5 a gallon now, but that's because they're pouring it all over paintings everywhere. But yeah, I mean, it's just amazing how high everything's gotten. It's not even crazy anymore. I got to go shopping tomorrow, and I used to spend $100 a week on. I used to spend $100 a week on groceries. I will spend $300 tomorrow, and not even fill my kitchen with food.
I can take 3 or 4 of those little cloth bags to the grocery store and fill up 2 of them and spend $75 to $100.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe Biden.
No, I know. Let's not cast any disparaging blame on that prick. So anyway, so the other thing I want to talk to you guys about before Joseph gets here and does his thing is I'm calling it a consumer alert, but I don't want to overdo this. I don't think that Windows 11 was spawned in hell or anything like that. But it could be. But I went and I've been looking. I'm going to install a version of it on my virtual machine so that I can start seeing how the suck is firsthand. But basically, I put together a list today using 3 or 4 different sources online. I found out all the different reasons why you might want to consider not hitting that update button quite yet. Sometimes we find out, like with Windows 8, that the best thing to do with Windows 8 is to not do Windows 8.
Is to delete it, start over.
Yeah, there was never a good time to update the Windows 8.
Or what was the other one? Windows Me? Is that it?
Yeah, ME, Windows ME, or as I used to call it, FU. But yeah, there was Windows. Yeah, it was terrible. ME 2000 was bad. Millennium, which was kind of the same thing. Those were all bad. Windows has a weird thing. They're kind of like the Star Trek movies. Every other one's really good. Like Star Trek 1, Star Trek 2, great. Star Trek 3, Star Trek 4, great. I mean, you could take that all the way to the end of the line. Okay, Windows is the same way. Windows 1 was neat. It was innovative. Windows 2 was a pile of shit. Windows 3.11 for work groups revolutionized the Windows environment, the desktop environment. And then it went back and forth. Finally, you got another good operating system, XP. XP was an amazing operating system. And then you had shit and crap and stuff. And then you had, boom, we got Windows 7.
Yeah.
7 was a good operating system. It was good once they fixed a few things. Then we got 8. 8 was a pile of shit. 8 was never a good time for 8. 10.
There was no 9.
No, there wasn't. We skipped 9 because they're trying to break the pattern here. Well, and then we got 10, and 10's a great operating system. I like 10. I mean, I can bitch all day about it, but there's great things. It's a great operating. It's stable. There's lots of customization. It's good. However, this Windows 11 is not. And here I'm going to show you why. Hardware requirements. You're going to find if you're updating an older PC, there's going to be 3 things on there. These 3 things right here. That are probably going to make your machine ineligible to upgrade, which is probably the best thing that's ever happened to you. But sorry, but anyway, but if your CPU is not recent from the last 3 or 4 years, it's not going to let you update anyway. The PC must have a TPM security chip. I'm not even aware of that necessarily. The computer's firmware must be capable of using secure boot. Most machines made more than 3 years ago are not going to meet these requirements. So if you've got a 6-year-old Windows 10 machine, I would not even try the update. It's going to fail and you're going to have to revert it back, and it's going to take 2 hours of your time that Bill Gates will not pay you for. So there you go. That's what we got there. That hardware requirements are very stringent on the new one. Some of the other hardware requirements are not. Doesn't require a shitload of RAM or anything else like that. But there is certain requirements that are deal breakers. Changing default apps in Windows 11 is way too difficult. Apparently, in the old one, you could just basically right click and tell it to always open this file with this program. You know, and it would know that, okay, it wants me to open JPEGs with Paintbrush or whatever. Apparently, this has become a lot more difficult. Windows knows better what your default apps should be. And of course, the Windows apps are all the default apps, like Edge, for instance. Next thing, this is a big one. You no longer have the option to run a local environment on your Windows machine. They now require that you have a sign-in for Windows through Microsoft. And then it'll open up and let you do everything.
There are ways around that.
I hear there's workarounds. The Pro version, the earlier Pro versions did not make you do it. The newer Pro versions do. But I also hear there is workarounds. Chris, what do you know about it?
Well, about a month ago, I bought a pretty nice laptop from one of those liquidator guys.
Yeah.
And when I got home, I didn't even think it had Windows 11 on it.
Oh no.
Yeah, and so I was playing with it, and I hated it right away. And I called him, and he said, "Yeah, he put." I said, "Can you put 10 Pro on it?" He said, "Yeah, no problem." But when I was in there, he told me there's a specific question it asks you when you're setting it up.
Right.
That you have to skip, and then you can do it without having to sign into Microsoft. And I can't remember which one it was. I could probably call him and ask him, but because he's a nice guy, but I don't remember for sure. If anybody wants to know, I'll find out. But there is there's a question to skip or say no to.
Okay, good. The stuff I was reading made it sound like it was very difficult with Pro and it was impossible with Home, but I'm glad to hear there's a workaround. The stuff I was reading was months old. All right, Windows 11 start menu is less usable than Windows 10. Just when you thought that Metro shit was bad, this is even worse. It's not customizable. Size, shape, color, a lot of the things you're used to customizing, you can't. And instead of now having this, I like this because even though I'm not much on these tiles, I'm kind of starting to where I use them some. But I like this standard list of programs. I like an alphabetical listing of all my programs. Call me simple, call me stupid, but I like that. Okay. And this doesn't give me that. This Windows 11 gives you this strange, here, I'll put it back up on the screen for you. It gives you this strange, you can see there on the right. That's what the new Windows, when you see, before the Windows button was always on the left, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But now when you hit the Windows button, this is what pops up. And instead of seeing like settings and the things that you would normally see under your start button, now you're going to see, like, it's going to give you suggested files. And have you ever noticed how anytime it suggests a file, it's not a file you're looking for? I got another question. Has anyone ever had a Windows troubleshooter work?
Nope. They always want you to call a tech.
And they always, what gets me is it'll always say Windows troubleshooter. I'll run the troubleshooter. It'll come back. The troubleshooter could not fix your problem or could not detect your problem, one or the other. And then it literally right after that will come up and say, hi, how was your experience with the troubleshooter today? And I usually just write shit and hit enter, because it never, ever fixes anything. I've never once had the Windows troubleshooter go, we fixed your network error. It's working now. Anyway, there you go. The Windows 11 taskbar. They're making it like Apple, folks. I don't know. Is Bill Gates even work there anymore? I still call him an ass, but
No, he's retired.
He retired. So those jerks at Windows, I'm just going to call them that. They're making it like Apple. Notice the taskbar went from Windows to frickin' Apple. I hate Apple. They're making it look like Apple. The start menu, the start button, now floats back and forth depending on how many things you have open. It no longer shows you the icons of all the things that are open. It only shows you one icon for each type of program, basically. It gives you a lot less information. They took away things like, if you like, I don't like it, but if you like the search bar down here, it's gone. There's just, I am just like, really, this is a fail for Windows. They're making it Apple. It's like, what are you doing? Windows 11 makes it, go ahead.
They want the operating system to be an interface to the web rather than a browser.
Exactly. And that brings up my next point. Number 6, Windows 11 makes it much more difficult to use the browser of your choice. If you tell your thing, look, I want to open all internet links in Chrome, Windows 11 is going to make that a lot more difficult for you to get to happen. You may even have to run some third-party thing or something to get it to happen. Again, I don't know a lot of this personally. I've spoke to people that have used it, and I also used 3 different sources to come up with all this information, and only use things that were cross-referenced. So I'm pretty sure on this information, but I haven't personally experienced each of these things. The next one, Windows 11 ditches the Action Center, and its replacement sucks. Everybody's bitching about this. We had this Action Center here, which I've never been big on, but it works. It's fine. Apparently, they took this away for something that's a lot more suckier and a lot less effective. And it's, get this, I know this, sit down because this is going to be shocking. It's just like Apple. Okay, so now we're getting something that looks more like the Apple Launchpad than the Windows Action Center. Thank you, Windows. Windows number 8, Windows 11 is a step backward for tablets. I don't use it and have never used Windows in tablet mode, nor do I have a tablet that uses Windows. So I don't know a lot about this, but from what it says and from what the research I found says, they've taken away a lot of the swiping features and things that people really liked about the tablet mode in Windows 10. They also say that you still need third-party antivirus. Now, I want to talk about antivirus for a minute. Do you guys use antivirus software? Do you guys like pay Norton or McAfee?
I had a good one for Windows called Nod 32. This goes back about 10 years, but it seemed to be the antivirus on steroids. It was almost hyperactive. It was looking for everything without taking over speed so much. So I would recommend it. I did not have it. And I was trying, the disk had some upgrade thing, like you enter a code, but I never did that. I think that was a scam. But if you can find that, that seemed to work. The Norton I'm looking for is the one where you've got the computer on the workbench and like you could be dead in the water and you keep batting things off. That's Norton Utilities. Can you procure a copy of that?
I don't know. I've never tried. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't use antivirus software at all. And I haven't used it in 10 years. This is a conspiracy theory, so I'm going to put a disclaimer on it. Beep, 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 beep. This is a conspiracy theory. I think that your money that you pay to McAfee and Norton and all these companies is who's paying these people that sit in their mother's basement and make all this crap. A lot of these viruses that come out now, I will tell you, this has gotten less and less, but used to be most of the viruses that came out had no monetary purpose. They were literally just disruptive. They were just being a prick, and that's why they put it out. And those were the ones I think were heavily being put out by the manufacturers of these same programs that remove them. It's funny how they always had the thing to remove them right before the thing came out. So only people that were protected by them would be protected. But I'm leery of the whole thing. And you know what? I run a virtual machine. I've got 5 different Windows and Linux and different machines I can run in there. And in the rare event that I go somewhere where I'm worried about a virus or malware or something, I do that. I go to a virtual machine, I run it there. And I'll tell you something else I do is I have a thing called CCleaner, the free version of CCleaner. It's just CCleaner, CCleaner. And I run that once a week religiously and have it remove all the cookies, the cache, and all the. I don't have it remove my passwords or anything, but I have it remove all the extra stuff, and I have it clean out stuff and look for malware and do all the things that it does. And I use it manually. Nothing runs in the background of my computer.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What virtual machine are you using?
Oh crap, I forget the name of it, but I can probably find it. Give me a second here and I'll look.
That's like I do all my web browsing and email reading on Linux. I don't use Windows for that at all.
Well, the neat thing with the virtual machine is it all runs in Windows.
Yeah.
But if you're running like in a Windows virtual machine, there's no way for them to get out of that machine. It's basically inside a box.
It blows it away. You can just regenerate it.
That's right. That's right.
Is it VMware?
Let's see. There's VMware, and what's the Oracle has one too, and I'm trying to think of what it is. It's a freebie. You can get it for free.
Oracle VM Virtual Box. That's what I have.
Virtual Box. That's what.
Yeah, it's called Oracle VM Victor Mike Virtual
Box. Okay.
And that's free, huh?
Yeah. You can get that for free. You can run that under Linux. You can run that under Windows. You can run it on a Mac.
Yep. And I've got, I'm not running an app. I want to put Apple OS in it so I can use it to test things over there and look at my website over there and stuff like that. It's good for a web developer to be able to look at their website on all the different OSs and all the different and the different browsers as well on the different OSs. So that's kind of what I started working with it. But Joseph helped me set it all up. And I now have Windows 10. I think I got Windows 8, Windows 7. And I got a couple of Ubuntu's in there, and I got ham pie.
Just can't wait for Windows 13.
Yeah.
That'll
Yeah,
be
there
another
you
one they
go.
skip. They'll skip
Well,
it.
yeah, maybe they'll skip 12 and go to 13.
That would be hilarious.
Well, then the good thing is the next one now will be good.
Yeah. It's window 11 is a dog.
It is. And I'll look, if someone wants to tell me how good it is or something good about it, I'll listen. Like I said, I qualified right at the beginning. I'm not saying it's a pile of crap.
It is
I'm-
better than 8, but then anything's better than 8. 8 sucks.
My
so
Commodore
bad.
64 was better than 8.
Oh, yeah.
I think I
That's
got an
right.
IBM Model 30 hanging around somewhere. That's better than 8.
Yeah.
DOS, Shell. Anyway, let's go back to this. I want to finish this up before Joseph comes in. He's due in shortly. But anyway, look, going back to this, they say you need third-party antivirus because apparently Windows Defender still, they say, is not good enough. So there you go. The next, number 10, Windows 11 is not innovative. It's becoming Apple. It just literally, they're printing Apple. They're making an Apple Windows. It's basically they're making an Apple interface on a Windows platform, basically. And I hate it. I don't hate like Apple, like I wouldn't burn the place down, but I'm not an Apple guy. I don't want apples. I don't like apples. And I just don't want, why? Why do I have to change my operating system to look like theirs? Why don't they make theirs look more like ours? And I've used Apple quite a bit and I don't like it. It doesn't, and nothing is as easy on there. It's all more complicated. Number 11, unnecessary clicks. This is something that I have a lot of complaints about, whether it's Google updates, whether it's Windows updates, whether it's updates to any of my work programs, my radio programs, any of this stuff. Everything is adding clicks to my workflow at this point. You know, it used to be I just clicked new and then I would click audio file. Now I have to hit new and hover over it and let it open up this other one and hit audio and then let it hover and hit this. It's so much more difficult now to just start a new audio file. It worked. That's all I'm doing, just starting a new audio file. And it is ridiculous to me what I'm having to do extra clicks every time when I'll do this 25 times a day. If it's 2 extra clicks 25 times a day, that still doesn't sound like much, does it? But there's 7 other processes that have an extra click or 2 extra clicks. And when you start adding this up, it slows your workflow down. And none of the extra options that they add to stuff are of interest to me, really, for the most part. I mean, it's always like, hey, look at all this new piece of chrome we put on the car. Does the air conditioner work better? Because I really don't. All I care about is it moves, air conditioner works. It moves, air conditioner works. Headlights at night. I'm really, there's certain things that are important and there's certain things that aren't. And this is kind of how this is. Anyway, we don't need all the unnecessary crap because what that does is it adds menuing and layers and extra clicks to get to the things that we do use as part of our daily workflow.
Enhanced aggravation.
Exactly. Next, we got complicated settings and functionality. Setting default apps got trickier. Setting default anything got trickier. They're taking away your control. They want to take away your ability to decide what color your menu bar is going to be or to decide how your icons are going to be arranged. They're taking away all of this kind of stuff.
Belong to us.
That's right. That's right. If I have my button bar up, I would hit the one that says, "We are the Borg. Resistance is futile." Because that's exactly what it is. It's like they know better than you. And I'm not going to get political, but a lot of politics is like this too. When people start thinking that they know better than I do what needs to be on my screen or what I need to work with, that's wrong. And that's what Windows is doing right now. They're changing to be more like Apple. And I just don't like it. I really don't. And
sounds very woke.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah,
Very woke.
I'm glad someone else said it because I'm
say
You know
thinking.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
that.
Like, Big brother.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Look, if you have to have a Microsoft account, that's data harvesting. There's no other reason for that.
Yeah. I hate that crap too.
Yeah. And it's targeted data harvesting because you're signed in as you. It doesn't just know that some dude on McGregor Boulevard likes this. It knows that Rick likes this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the scary part.
Yeah, that shit is scary.
That's the scary part. It's one thing when a guy in Fort Myers likes something, but when you're signing in with your name, that data harvesting now becomes personal. And I don't like it. Anyway, as expected, being the newest doesn't necessarily mean it's the most stable. Windows feature updates now come less and less. They're only doing feature updates once a year, which is fine with me. I don't update my Windows. I take it out of the box and I use it that way until I get the next one. All of my Windows systems here are Virgin Windows systems, meaning that I used an original version of Pro to install these Windows versions that I have in all of my
actually
systems.
turn off the updates. I've found that
And-
I can delay them, but
In Pro
I
10,
have here. That's what I have.
in Pro, you can turn them off completely. You have to go into the management settings. It's called it's like the system administrator settings,
Yeah.
but you can go in there. You just have to look up how to do it and follow the steps.
Be an
You just-
administrator, but that's fine.
Well, yeah. If it's your machine, you obviously can and authorize it. But that's all you really have to do is go in there on Pro and tell it no updates at all.
Hmm.
On the other one, what I used to do was I used to ban it from going to the Microsoft website. I would blacklist Microsoft's website. That I would firewall that bitch and say, no Microsoft for
man.
you. Then the next thing I would do is I have a little thing I would run. And what it does is it runs every 30 minutes and deletes everything in the Windows distribution file where it puts the update information into. So every 30 minutes it just deletes anything that shows up in that file. And
That's
so
hilarious.
I don't ever get updates because I still have one machine over here, my laptop. I have a very nice laptop over here and that I've had for a couple of years now. And it has Windows Home in it. So it has those other two things I just told you about active. And I have got this Windows is actually the original Windows that came with the laptop. That's what works best. Everybody keeps saying, you really should get those you really should get those updates because those updates, man, I'm telling you, they're going to make your system safer. They're going to make it better. It's going to work awesome. It's going to make it work better with their apps and all your peripherals. Horse crap. Okay, I'm telling you horse crap. I'm not saying you're not going to run into something later where it's like, I'm going to do the updates because I got 3 things not working and that's probably going to fix a couple of them. Okay, I get that. There's reasons to update and I would never update to something right away. But once an update's 6 months old, you probably could do it. It wouldn't hurt anything. They've got all the bugs worked out of it. But the forcing of updates is what I have a problem with. It's communist. And I hate that crap. All right, so there we go. That's that. And over here on the other screen here in Brady Bunch mode, we've got Joseph getting all set up there. I can see you on there. He's dressed in his winter attire. I think they're in the 40s up there tonight or something. It's
Yeah.
cold.
It's not
Can you hear me
like-
okay?
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
you loud and clear.
Not that cold
Okay.
up there, but
Yeah, it's I'm out in the garage right now and it's cold outside, so it gets cool in here. It's not super cold yet, but I'm very skinny, so I gotta overdress, otherwise I get cold.
Yeah.
But
Wait a minute. Now, I
You
was a
saying
big
you're
guy once.
anorexic?
I was a
What?
big guy once. And when I was a big guy, it didn't help me any.
Yeah.
You know, the jury's out on that because when you're big and fat, you have a lot more surface connection with the outside air. There's a lot more of what we would call an interface. But when you're really, really thin, you don't have a lot of interface. But then again, you also don't have a lot of heat being created either. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how that would work. I mean, because think about how many square inches a fat guy has exposed to the air and how many square inches you, for instance, you probably got only about 35 square inches exposed to the air completely.
Yeah.
I know a perfect person to do this test with. KC4RPP. He claims to be a heavier person, a little rounder than he'd like to be. And he had an argument with me on the radio 5 years ago, debating the characteristics of sauce versus gravy. I could not believe it. I was going to fly down there and smack him.
Arguing over condiments, huh?
Sauce versus gravy. Well, it's
Yeah.
funny. I can tell you two things on that. I have always called salad dressing salad sauce. It's just I've always called it sauce. It's just me. I'm weird because it's like because I don't eat salad, but I like all the salad dressings, so I just call them sauces.
Oh my god!
Because I would never dress a salad with them. I wouldn't waste ranch on a salad. Are you kidding me? Ranch is like the best thing on French fries and everything else, man.
Oh, God.
Oh my gosh!
I wouldn't
You should
waste.
see what I'm eating, Ian. You'd kill me. I just had a carrot and seaweed dinner.
Ew.
Seaweed.
Oh,
That's what they eat up
where's
here.
my? I need my sad tuba button.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's like I ate kelp for dinner. Very good. I
That's all
ate
I
a
can
cow.
afford.
I ate cow and potatoes and vegetables.
After living in Naples and Fort Lauderdale, that's all that I can afford. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I'm-
Hey, I got
I'm
a
rock
question.
bottom.
How come when a cow gets his head chopped off, he becomes beef? And when a pig gets his head chopped off, he becomes pork. But a chicken's always a chicken.
Mm.
For some reason, we look down on fowl a little more than we look down on other mammals.
Today,
And
I'm checking that.
It's harder to stomach. I mean, literally serve it and say, "Hey, anybody want cow? We're having cow burgers today."
That reminds me of that Larry the Cable Guy joke.
Bovine burger.
He said, "Do you know why they call it rump roast?
Mm. Well, technically, yeah, but
Because if they called it ass meat, no one would buy it."
there you go. There you go. Hey, come on by today. We're having pot cow ass. Yeah, that does sound really bad. Probably wouldn't get none of that. Probably would skip the salad too and go to a Hardee's or something. Anyway,
Have you been to the Hardee's in North Fort Myers lately?
no, considering they tore it down and built a Taco Bell there about 15 years ago.
I don't think so. I was there in 2013, the one on Palm Beach Boulevard.
Oh, that's in East Fort Myers. Yeah, that one's still there. That one's right near my uncle's shop. It's 3 blocks from my uncle's shop. And yeah, I don't eat there anymore because Carl Jr. bought them out and they changed from a roast beef place, which is what I used to like, over to a hamburger joint. And there's a lot better hamburgers in town. So I really don't, I don't need another hamburger joint. Even McDonald's is making a good hamburger now. But I still go there every now and then. I do like their food.
McDonald's used to have better hamburgers.
No, I like McDonald's quarter pounder is really good. The quarter pounder is it's never frozen beef and it's really good. I like it. And Burger King's work. I like Hardee's burger. I like all that kind of stuff.
Wendy's.
Five Guys.
I don't like Five Guys fries. I like frozen fries, not fresh fries. Yeah, and they make a big deal about their fries. Or did you like some of our fries? No.
I don't like the way I don't like the way they greet you up here. They have Five Guys, and I didn't like the way they greet me when I open the door. They say man at the door or customer at the door. I don't need to introduce myself to the staff when I walk in a restaurant.
No.
It was very, very bizarre.
That's weird.
So this was years ago when they first
Yeah.
took off, like 2012. Anyhow,
It was
I haven't
probably
gone
a little
since.
thing. They all have their little what do you want to call it? Little corporate things that they do to try to catch people's eye and stuff. It was probably something like that.
And it gives me bad memories. So they try to do that so you remember like you're being taken care of when you walk in the door.
Sometimes
It's
they just
idiotic.
make you flat uncomfortable, you know?
Well, they better be careful calling out genders today.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, could you imagine that? Two non-binaries at the door. Anyway,
But non-binary, is that a hexadecimal?
yes, it's 1.35.
Have you been to Welcome
No,
to
no,
Mo?
I'm sorry. It's hexadecimal. It's 1.87. Anyway,
Have you been to a Welcome to Mo's?
Look at Moe's.
Moe's. Is that you're talking about Moe's Southwest?
Yeah, those are good.
Oh man, they're a sponsor of our Latino station, and they do stuff with us sometimes. And sometimes they'll just walk in with a bag with like 20 burritos in it. We'll just sit there and
Yeah.
eat those until they're gone, dude. Yeah,
So you do like them.
Do you
I'll
know
finish.
that-
I'll finish the last two in the bathroom.
Do you know that? Let's see if I can remember the name of the gas station. The gas station across from Coastland Center Mall on Goodlet Frank.
Ooh, that's
Does this ring a
Naples.
bell? I think it could be a mobile station, but it has a Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah,
So-
I don't get down there much. I only go to Naples when I'm a hostage.
Right. It's a pretty Gestapo town. But anyhow, here's what I wanted. I was in the mood to have like donuts for 2 weeks, you know, so whenever a dog came over, I could feed somebody's dog because it's frickin' dog food.
There you go.
I was in that mobile station one night, and I think I had been drinking or whatever I was on that night, and I couldn't understand what this kid said to me. He said, "Yo, man, for $5, you could have had that whole thing." And finally, I got it. At the end of the night, whatever is left in the case, you know, vanilla cream, chocolate frosting.
Oh yeah.
All of it's gone for $5.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, because the about 3 a.m, the donut guy comes in and puts all fresh ones in there. So at a certain time, they let them go. Yeah, I know. We used to walk into the racetrack out there. We'd pull the engine up front, and the 6 of us would get out of the cab, and we'd walk inside racetrack, and we'd all get drinks. They wouldn't let us pay for them, and then she'd say, "Hey, you know, she's ringing our food or whatever we're getting up," and she'd go, "Them donuts are free. Take what you want." And I mean, and we would literally all go over and take it. I'd be like, "Oh my God, say there's a fritter left." I'm not much on donuts, but jelly filleds and fritters, those are my 2 donuts.
Chocolate. covered.
And someone should correct me at this point and say, a fritter's not a donut. And I was a cop, so I know that. But you see how I slam everybody in like just 1 minute?
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's go to my co-host Joseph. Did I make you I think most everybody here is a co-host, so we're ready to slam this guy who comes in tonight. We even went through the procedure for how to ban somebody. So anyway, I just made you a co-host
Good.
too. So we're all co-hosts now. Rick's got his finger on the trigger.
Let's just hope Rick doesn't accidentally push the make co-host button instead of the remove button.
There you go. Yeah, because once somebody's a co-host, only the host can un-co-host them.
Oh, if that
Or
happens,
some bullshit. Yeah. And but yeah. So
No,
I don't
internet
know.
Went south, you know, that's our Banana Republic quality internet around. But it did go south. And so I had to wait for I rebooted my firewall and all that fun stuff. So that's why it was going on.
That's that new Comcast no speed internet service.
no speed.
No, this is Century Stink, not Comcast.
Oh, Century Stink. The
Yeah.
Century Stink no speed internet service.
Yeah.
Century Stink. I like that.
Yeah.
That's almost as bad as like Craptastic or Crapfinity.
Yeah.
Or there's others, but they involve really colorful words that I'm trying not to use.
Like crab coral or
Yeah.
Fort Misery.
Yeah, though I've used those for years. There's a lot of them too. Like if you're up around Tampa, it's the Tampon St. Petersburg Clearwater area. But no matter where you go, there's always a fun name for everywhere, like down in Nipples or wherever. But anyway,
Grateful.
yeah, and crap of soda. Yeah. But anyway,
Bitch.
yeah, there you go. There you go. In Fort Crappendale. But anyway, no matter where you go, it's bad. You know what I mean? But anyway, so let's go to Joseph. I know he's got his stuff going on there. He's going to show us how to. I'll be bowing out here in a little while, but I'm going to hang out with you guys for a little while. I still have a show to make before I go to bed tonight. Do you believe this? I hate this. I get into work and I get in at 2:00 and our show doesn't start till 5, but we pre-record the last hour so I can be here, which means my host gets in at 3:30 so we can start recording early, which means I only have 1 hour to get show prep done, 2:30 to 3:30. Then we're recording 3:30 to 5. I cannot edit my weekend shows while we're recording. I cannot edit my weekend shows Friday morning because I'm doing the newsletter. It takes 4 hours to produce that newsletter. Every single page in that newsletter, with the exception of the last 3, changes every week. There's I do reuse like how-tos after 1 year, but for the most part, it's all the content's all fresh in there, Yeah. And so my Friday is completely used up. Well, what I end up with is I've got the audio from my clients. I recorded the audio from my other clients yesterday, and I recorded the audio from my other clients Wednesday evening. But I haven't been able to make up all 3 of those shows yet and put them into the computer so they're ready to play tomorrow. So I have to go double check the 2 and put them in and make the 3rd one, put it in. I give you guys just a sample of how screwed up my life is. But I do like my job. I love radio. I would, and I wouldn't give up my radio job for anything. So Joseph, what do you think about my Elcar screens back here?
I was about to say something a few minutes ago. I thought that looked pretty neat. You got the flashing screens and they change what they're showing every now and then. And I think that's really neat. You got the schematic up there.
Yeah, it's not that they're all playing the same video at different points in the video. And it's a 10-hour loop of nothing but the Enterprise E Elcar screens. And I always thought it'd be cool if I had the money to actually have all my screens all the same kind and all equally around the whole room like they have on the sets when they build the sets for those starships. It's so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I thought it looked kind of cool. I figured, well, tonight I'm not doing FT8. I'm not using any of these screens for anything. I also got a new 32 back here, and I'm going to run it in a vertical format.
Oh, did you get to check out the remote ham radio thing?
No, we never got to it, dude. We'll do that. We can do that next week. We'll do that as our topic next week. We'll do FT8 on it.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be fine.
So maybe we'll do an operating week next week. We'll do operating, and instead of operating with our own radios, which I hope to have mine back up next week, I'm going to buy a pole this weekend. I've already taken the other 2 antennas off. I took my 6 and my 2 off, put them on the back of the shed. I've got my tower back up on the stand now to where it's on, it's on like a 30-degree angle. And I've got my hex beam sitting there and everything's ready to go back together, but I want an 8-foot pole to go into the top of my rotor. And then the hex beam is going to hook on the top of that. And that'll put me up about 28 feet at the base of my hex.
Yeah.
So the top of my hex will be about 30 feet, 31 feet. Yeah. And the rotor still works great. So I'll be able to rotate that thing around. And I won't have to put a rope on it and just move it around with a rope. Like I've done that before too. Trust me, I've gone out and worked, and I call my grandchild in and say, hey, pull that rope back over that way a little bit. But anyway, so yeah, next week we'll do some operating next week, either on our local radios. And I wanted to show you guys, he's got a youth account with a service that provides free use of 2-way radios over the internet. And so we're going to show you guys next week how to work FT8 through these systems. And even though it would cost us a little bit of money to sign up for these systems, it would give you the opportunity to work FT8 from a boss antenna somewhere on top of a mountain or something, you know, or someplace.
Yeah.
So that's what's really cool.
A lot of them have the full, I don't know what you call it, 1.5 gallon, 1,500 watt amplifiers, stacked
wow.
Yagis. There's several stations that have giant stacked Yagis with rotators, so you can point them wherever you want. You got a little map that shows you where your radiation pattern is, and it's a very interesting system.
That sounds cool. So we'll do that next week since you're doing this week. And that'll give us something to do next. I want to get back to operating. As I told you guys, we've run out of topics. We've got about 5 more on the list that we can't do because I don't have a specialist willing to come on. And that would be like JSA call and RIDI and stuff like that. I would love for someone to come on one night and teach us RIDI, and then we could practice and do some air stuff with RIDI. I don't know any.
Maybe APRS.
Yes, we actually did. We did APRS one night, and I actually had it set up here and I had it working, and we did do it, but we didn't do anything with it. I would certainly love to revisit it again with people that know what they're doing. I'll tell you what's neat about APRS is the fact that it's always monitoring. And if you keep up that map that shows, you know, where the APRS is picking up, you know, you guys know that map I'm talking about, the APRS propagation map. I found that to be an amazing tool. One day Joseph was showing us that propagation map, and he started seeing people like 2 states away. It was picking up people. And then it would go back to just right around his area. And it did it to him a couple times. And then it happened to me. I'm sitting here one day and I'm picking up people in South Carolina on VHF. And it only lasted a short time, and then it slowly reduced back down, and it was just right around here again. And it was just amazing to me how, you know, even VHF, even 2 meter is really affected by atmosphere. And you get these amazing moments when you get this great propagation on even 2 meters. So I thought that was what was neat about APRS, is that it's a propagation tool as well as a data transmission and management tool as well. So really a cool thing. I wish there was more things we could actually use it for other than just weather stations and here's where my car is. But
you can text with it.
Yeah, there's stuff. It's neat. It's a neat system. All right. So Joseph, I guess just go ahead and go for it, man.
Well, I pulled out.
I'll shut up now.
I got.
No, I'm serious. I'm going to shut up now.
All right.
No, I can.
I'm totally screwing with you, dude.
I can mute you.
Oh, he muted you. All right. Well, I went a little bit fancy this week. I have a thing. So what we need to do is I need to spotlight myself. Okay. And now I can do this and switch to this up close macro microscope camera thing that I have here. Yeah, there's an app you can get for Android called Droid Cam, and then you install a plugin for OBS Studio, and you have USB or Wi-Fi webcam access. So this is plugged into my computer over USB, and it's a camera. And you can do all kind of cool stuff. You have like manual zoom controls and everything. Like you can really play with it. So we're going to be using this view for a while. You won't see my face. You'll just hear me talking. Today, we're going to be soldering up a CM108 sound card. So here is a sound card. It's already been partially modified. I have a little bit of tape on the terminals there so that they don't get scratched up. The only thing I've done so far is I just desoldered the little audio jacks. When you get it from China, it comes like this. You've got 2 little audio jacks on here, and this is just a cheapo sound card with no plastic case on it. So it'll come with these on here, and you'll have to desolder the tabs or use a heat gun to remove these. But I didn't want to do this live because it is actually kind of easy to screw up the solder pads on these boards while you're trying to remove these. So I did this ahead of time, but when it comes from China, you're going to get them like this, and you'll have to take a heat gun. Or what I just do is I stick a little screwdriver in the hole, and I apply pressure away from the board where I'm trying to like bend it up like this. And I just go one by one. I touch the soldering iron on each pad in sequential order, all while keeping upward force on it. And after you've made about 3 or 4 passes with the soldering iron, they'll usually pop off. So just don't apply too much upward force because those little tabs will break off the board. All right, so we're gonna put this in our helping hands here. And I'm gonna try and set this up so that y'all can see what's going on without there being too bad of a glare. And then we're gonna zoom in on it because not enough people who make videos on how to modify these things actually make it so that you can see what's going on. So one of my goals for this is to make the best CM108 guide that currently exists, where you can actually see every single wire that's being put on it and everything. So the first step, and we're just gonna get right into this here. You gotta order one of these on Amazon. They cost about 10 bucks and you can get 3 of them. The first thing you have to do after you've desoldered these pads, and I really need like a pointer. I need like a laser. Here, I'll use this screwdriver. You need to cut this trace right here. So let me mark this out right here. This little trace that's running vertically here, we got to cut that trace. So the way I usually do it is I just put it down on a hard surface and I take a knife. That's my knife here, and I just cut it. It's a little copper trace, and you can see in there once it's cut. And I'll also do a test with a multimeter.
Yeah.
But we're just gonna scratch that up real good. Also, a box cutter blade works pretty well for this. Just inspect. Yeah, it looks like it's been cut. But I'm also going to take my multimeter here. And I'm going to just make sure that these tabs have actually been cut. And it looks like they have. All right. So with that tab cut, we're now going to put this back in the helping hands. See if I can zoom back in on this efficiently. All right, now it's time for the first step. So I've already cut out my wires and pre-done a few menial steps here. First thing we got to do is remove a few components from this board. So it comes with a little bit extra from what you actually need. So we got to desolder 3 resistors. And I'm actually going to make the helping hands grab the other edge because I don't want it moving around. So first resistor we are going to remove is the resistor known as, I think it's, I want to say C2 is the circuit board marking. It's behind it. You can't really see it. The marking is back here. So I have a soldering iron here. Let me clean my tip. It's kind of a little bit bumpy. Okay. All right. We need to desolder this resistor right here. So we're going to touch the side. Oop. Okay. I'm going to actually rotate it a little bit here. So the way I usually do this is I just melt up either side back and forth a few times until it is loose. There we go. It's coming off. There we go. So now that that has been knocked off, it's time to remove this resistor right here and this resistor right here. I wish this camera had a little bit more contrast to it. I don't know if I can make this any better. That kind of highlights the 2 resistors
Yeah,
I'm
not
working on.
like get it down just a little bit. I can see which ones you're doing, but
Okay, tilt it down a little more.
yeah, tilt it down a little more. Get better contrast. Yeah, that's good. You get rid
That
of
you
the
think?
glare. Yeah, get rid of the glare.
All right, I'm trying to center that a little bit better. Okay, so we got to remove this resistor right here and this resistor right here. and they're tiny. So you can pretty much just scrape it right off the board. What I usually do is I just touch one side, touch the other side, touch the other side, touch the other side, touch the other side. Oh, there it goes. All right. Sometimes those little resistors, they're surface mount resistors.
Mhm.
Sometimes they'll actually stick to your soldering iron and just get completely melted. But that's okay. We don't need it. Get rid of this one. Come on.
You don't need to clean the solder off.
No. You just need to remove the component. There we go. And let me actually, there we go. Okay. So now we have all three of our components removed. So there's no component there and there's no component there. See, it's just a blank spot. So the next step is to add a 1K resistor. Now, I actually usually add a 500 ohm resistor because I like my audio to be a little bit louder. And you can, truthfully, you can skip the resistor adding step, but I just do it. It kind of protects the front end of the sound card a little bit in the event that you just massively overdrive the input or something like that. So I'm going to put a 500 ohm resistor in, and what that looks like is this color code: gold, brown, brown, green. You can also use a 1K, but I don't have any here to show you. So I'm going to be using gold, brown, brown, green on here. So now you want to, this is kind of a finicky step, but I like that word, finicky. You got to bend the traces around on this here resistor like that. We're going to do that on both sides. Okay, so now, what I really need is a pair of tweezers. Okay. So this is what we have now. As you can see, the little wires have been bent, and we're going to be soldering it on right here between these two posts.
Nice.
So first step, of course, is going to be to tin this just a little bit because you need at least some solder on there. I need to put more onto my soldering iron. Go. All right, now I'm going to add some more to these two pads. Just make the little bump a little bit bigger on there. Okay, this is a difficult part. I'm sure to drop the resistor a few times. I'm going to try and use these tweezers, but sometimes I have to switch to another tool to get this to work. There we go. There's one side done. And there's the other side. That was actually surprisingly easy. All right. Just make sure that's on there nice and good. It sure is. You can see that, man, unless you have like a dedicated camera designed to film these circuit boards, you really, it's really difficult to get something with enough contrast here. Well, I don't know if that's a contrast issue or not.
It looks really good, actually.
All right, well, we'll just leave it.
It looks better than any circuit board I've tried to show on my cameras. I can actually see everything.
Just everything fine.
Yeah, I guess it's not too bad. All right, so with the resistor in place, the next step is to add the fine wiring for push to talk and COS. This is the part that'll make you pull your hair out if you have hair to pull out. So what we have to do, we have to solder a wire into the worst pot imaginable. We have to solder wires onto this little chip. We have to solder a wire right here on this pin, and we have to solder a wire right here on this pin. Thankfully, they're on the very corners.
I was gonna say, thankfully, they're the end pin. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
If they weren't, this would probably be impossible. This is very difficult, and I actually have my very first CM108 sound card ever that I ever worked on. As you can see, the corner of that chip's been obliterated on both sides. I ripped like 3 of the pins off on that one, but it's been time
Good thing
since
they're
then. They're what?
I say it's a good thing they're cheap.
Oh yeah, if they were $15 a piece or something, like this would make you cry, but they're not too bad. So this is my last one though. If I screw this one up, I don't got any left. So we're gonna try and do this right first time. So I'm going to just tap a little solder bubble onto the corner of that chip. I need to clean my tip again. Soldering is one of those things that I really like once I get in the mood to do it. Otherwise, it's just not fun.
All right. Hey guys, I'm going to bow out for the night. I do appreciate everybody coming in, and I really appreciate you, Joseph, for taking the second half of the net tonight. We're going to do live operating next week. We'll see you guys then for that too. We're going to live operate remotely and live operate, hopefully, from our own radios too, if I can get everything going. So I'm going to turn it back over to Joseph, but I appreciate everybody coming in tonight, and I will see you next week, where hopefully I'll be more rested and better groomed.
Have
So,
a good Thanksgiving.
Yep.
and all that good
Yes, everybody have a good Thanksgiving out there. That's right. We do have Thanksgiving between now and the next show. The next show is the day after Thanksgiving, and we will still have a show that night, obviously. So, all right, guys, I'll turn you back over to Joseph. I can't believe that's where you have to solder that is on that little. Oh my God.
Sorry, that wire onto there.
Ian, before you go,
Yeah, go ahead.
don't forget about that radio that I've got.
Yes, I want that. But yeah.
You still want it? Okay.
I do still want it, but let me tell you something else. I've taken too long to get it from you because I don't have the money readily available because of the storm and everything. So if you need to sell it and someone else will buy it, then you do what you got to do, and I will not be upset.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I want to be fair about this. You try to sell it. If you sell it, that's fine. If not, if in a few weeks when I get to pay from 2 of my clients, if I can swing it, I'm gonna give you, whatever, 90% of what they're getting on eBay for it or whatever. So, I'm not looking to get you way down on price. I mean, I know what they're worth. So,
Yeah, I was going to put it on the Trader's Net for 150.
yeah, well, I will easily pay that for it. So that's a good thing. I do want one more of those. We're a little concerned about whether we're going to be able to hook them up like we want to. But I still want it anyway, because, anyway. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. Sorry, Joseph, I interrupted you. You guys have a great night, and I will see you next week on the TechNet.
Night.
Good night.
Bye.
I'm going to make Joseph the actual host now, too.
All right.
Somebody sings.
So where we left off, we've got to solder a wire from this corner pin right here to this pad right here where we desoldered that resistor. So from here to here. And in order to do that, you're supposed to use really, really fine wire. I don't have any super fine wire, but honestly, it wouldn't make it much easier. So what I have is this piece of wire. I believe this is, I have to check what the gauge is.
In the zoom mode, it looks like number 12.
Yeah, it probably is. 22 AWG, that's what it is. Okay.
Oh, well, that's pretty small.
Yeah, this is pretty small, but in the little guide they have set up that it's actually even smaller. But honestly, if it was much smaller, it would be even more of a nightmare to work with. So I'm fine with this. So what we're gonna try and do here is not destroy the pins on this CPU here. If I do this on stream, it will be very sad. So let me get my soldering iron here. Looks like it's ready. So I'm gonna just hold it in place where I want it. See, the thing is, you really gotta hold it up from above, like directly above, because if you don't, it's going to be tilted. And if you apply any pressure whatsoever to those little pins on the CPU, they'll just come right off the board. So
Yeah, you have to touch it real.
you have to exercise triple caution when building these things. All right, I'm just gonna hold it on the side. Nope. All right, there. It's no, it's not connected.
Can I make a suggestion?
In a second. All right, there we go. I'm satisfied with that. Well,
Just wondering if it's so brittle, wouldn't you want to do the other side first?
you would think so, but if you do the other side first, it may not line up right. That's the main problem.
Okay.
I actually got to redo this because it's not quite. There we go.
Make sure you don't touch that second pin.
That's good enough.
As long as it makes contact.
Actually, you know what? No, it's not. That was just attached to a little soldered leg that was sticking out. I need it to be soldered to the actual pin.
Yeah, that's good.
That seems a bit better.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah, that's where I want it. All right, and now before I progress any further, I'm going to take my very gross hot glue gun here. I'm going to apply some hot glue to that area
Makes sense to me.
because I do not want that thing breaking off.
And I couldn't do that small work anymore. I shake too much.
Yeah, I got to live it up and solder a whole bunch of small stuff while I'm young. The nerd version of living it up. All right, next up, we just got to solder that onto there, which is pretty easy. So I'm going to tin that pad a little bit better.
Press it down on there.
Come on.
Probably good, right?
That's just melted on. That's not what I want. Come on now. I didn't strip back enough of the jacket, so it's all. There we go. I didn't strip back quite enough of the jacket on that one, so it was melting to the board instead of soldering. But now that's done, I'm going to add just a bit more hot glue.
That hot glue is a real lifesaver, I'll tell you.
Yeah. No, I don't want that. I don't want it.
We used to take that glue gun stuff and go into the lobby of our school and glue a quarter to the floor and see how many people would stop and try to pick it up.
Or glue the salt shaker to the table in McDonald's
Right?
back when they had salt shakers on the tables. All
When
right,
they had tables.
back when they had tables. Sorry, sir, the inside's closed. All right, well, so yeah, that happened to me yesterday. I went to McDonald's and I've got 7 feet tall antennas on my Suburban, so the drive-through was kind of out of the question. And so I pulled on the door handle and the guy was like, "Oh, sorry, inside's closed." Well, it turned out if I sneak through just right, I can still go through the drive-through with the antennas. But tell you what, them antennas are a problem sometimes. I have to
7-foot antennas, what, for CB?
CB and 2 meter. The 2 meter antennas actually go away. I don't want any of that barf.
It's gross.
What is it?
It's caramel.
I don't want caramel corn. God,
Are you getting ready to have a shootout with $9.99?
I don't know. Maybe already told them I didn't like caramel covered popcorn, but they're still trying to get me to eat it. It's the second person that came out here telling me to eat it. All right. Yeah, but to answer your question, yeah, I got a Fire Stick KW6, which is about 6.5 feet tall for the CB radio. And then for the 2 meter, I have a Hustler CG144, which is 7 feet tall. So the total height of the vehicle is exactly at the like legal limit for a semi truck.
14 feet.
13.5 feet is the legal limit. So it's right at that. I think I have an inch to spare, but that I still hit all kind of trees and stuff. I have this on the way home from my work. There's a road I have to take to get to the house, and there's a couple trees that go over the road. And I figured out what exact speed you have to be at and where in the road you have to be to not hit the tree. If you're going the right speed, the antenna will bend back in the wind just enough to not whack the tree. All right,
Yeah.
next wire we've got to solder here is this one. Covering it with my fingers a little bit. I need to cut it off right there.
It's not bad enough. You got to do it once. Now you got to do it twice. You escaped.
Kind of. I just got to tin this here real quick.
Is that going to the other side of the resistor? I forget where that goes to.
No, this does not go to any resistor. This is the cost wire. Actually, wait,
Yeah.
I think it's the cost wire. Hang on, let me look. No, this is the PTT wire. Anyway, so here's my, I'm putting my tweezers here. Here's my second wire. What's going on here? So we're just gonna have to repeat the process that we did last time to get it on there. I think this time I'm gonna grip it from over here. I think that might be a little bit better. All right.
Solder with your left hand.
No. That would be very bad.
You could turn the thing around.
Well, then I'd be at the back side of the CPU again, and I don't want
Ah.
to be there. Let me rearrange this a little bit. I gotta
This
hold
is the
the.
push to talk one.
Yes, this is push to talk. Oh, I remember what I did last time.
I can barely talk. I'm washing down all this disgusting seaweed dinner. Jeez.
That's what I did last time. I bent it up in a U shape. And you and your seaweed dinner. You didn't read, by the way. I sent you an email 3 or 4 messages ago in the chain that you just completely did not read. I guess you couldn't comprehend it or something. But it was pretty funny.
I don't know where my brain is, man. I've read all your. I couldn't even open up your attachments.
Really?
Yeah, I was
Well,
getting.
I did get a message from Google. I think I tried to send you. I think one of the files I tried to send you, it told me that it couldn't because it might be a virus.
Okay.
But I think I was able to get them all to send. I'm not sure what exactly happened with that, but
Email has become fairly intense about the type of files it lets you send these days.
yeah, you may not send an exe file.
All right. The latest one I have says make sure that the PTT is set to either active high or active low, depending on what the radio requires. Well, how do I know?
Well, if the radio is accepting 5 volts plus 3 volts or whatever for push to talk, then that's what it, I mean, most of them are all the same, but you need to find out which it requires. And the way you can find out is by hooking it up. And if the radio stays keyed up all the time, but turns off.
Oh, that went away. That went away just now when I did invert PTT equals 1. It used to be 0, and I got that long 5-minute dead key, the perpetual.
Yeah.
And I changed it to invert PTT, in the simple USB config. Invert PTT equals 1, solved it. But I don't hear Linda.
Okay,
No,
well,
Linda.
you still got a problem, but if it's working and you have the invert setting wrong, then the radio will be keyed up and then it will unkey whenever there's a transmission. So when it tries to identify it, the radio will unkey. That's how
I
you
gotta
know it's
solve my
backward.
audio problem. I want to hear Linda say, hello. KB1BEZ repeater. IP address 192 da da da. I want to hear all that. I just get dead keys from her. She died on me.
Well, then you've definitely got your audio pin probably backwards. Would be
All
my
right,
guess.
so audio
Well, hang on. I'll help you diagnose it in a minute. I gotta finish this here.
audio is black. Well, tell your audience that you're color coding wire. Okay, you'll get to that.
I'll show you what I'm.
I'm just a
color
little
coding.
huffy tonight because I've been working on this for 11 and a half months.
Oh man.
Not to, discourage anybody like Connor. I know Connor at your dorm room, you're watching us live. You're watching us live, Connor, and you Connor, I have to give you this. Last meeting, you asked a really pertinent, intelligent question. How much does a tape measure cost? You were so smart, Connor. I tell you, you college boys, you are so intelligent, asking us how much does that cost? Awesome question.
that I gotta hand it to him too. That's a pretty good troll question. I gotta say. Alrighty. All right, we've got our two impossible wires soldered up here and covered in glue. So now they're not going to go anywhere. And from here on out, everything is a lot easier. We just got to solder on our different colored wires here. So from this step, we're going to start adding stuff. So we're going to go with the black wire first. And this wire, the black wire, if you're paying attention, Mr. Worldwide, this is transmit audio.
Right.
Transmit audio from the fob, which means RX audio for the radio.
Oh, that's where my mistake is. Shoot. Okay. So, all right. So what I thought was, let's do that again. What I thought was receive going to the receive line actually, no. What I thought was transmit actually goes to receive of the radio.
Yes. So
that's what you just said is the black wire goes to receive of the DB9 connector and back. So that would be, let me look at now. That's where the mistake is.
Yeah.
That's the same way on a duplex hotspot where you have to put it backwards.
Because the paper I gave you is giving it to you from the perspective of the sound card.
Okay, that's where my mistake is. So the black wire, instead of going on pin 3 of the Echolink, you hear that, all you El Stinko fans who actually buy the DR, who are making this job easy. It comes equipped with a DB9 connector and back, unlike Kenwood. You need to put the black wire on pin 2 instead of pin 3. Do I have that right, Joe?
I don't know the pin out of that radio. You're the one who knows that, but.
Well, let me look. Because I don't want to confuse anybody like Connor. I know he's working real hard on this tonight.
All right. So we added the black wire. Sorry, I wasn't commentating. Black wire goes to this pad here. That is your transmit audio out of the card. Whatever radio or interface you have it connected to, that's going to be input audio to the radio. It's very easy to get confused with this stuff. I know because I did that when I first built these things. It's very confusing. When you have 5 wires and you have TXRX and then the radio has TXRX and you got to, it's more confusing than you might think, because I know it sounds like we're making fun of Mr. BEZ or really dumb, but it's true. It does get confusing. So
it does.
Next wire on the list is the carrier operated switch. This is a white wire. You can use whatever color you want, but I'm using the color code that I've always used. So what this wire does is it tells the sound card that the radio is receiving. So most radios have something called carrier operated switch, which goes high or low, usually goes high, whenever the radio receives a signal, whenever something breaks the squelch. That that signal is used to turn on stuff like an indicator LED or block a transmit if you have the busy mode turned on or whatever. So this white wire is going to connect to COS or COR. It's sometimes called carrier operated relay. COS or COR, that's what this white wire goes to. This tells the sound fob to open up the input on the Allstar node. Without this wire, Allstar will not work. It will not ever send the radio to the internet. So there you go. That's a very important wire. Next wire up on the list is just as important. Well, almost just as important because some radios have Vox. This is the red wire. This wire controls PTT. This wire will go high or low based on what you have in your settings whenever the sound card wishes to key up your radio. So whenever the sound card is receiving data over the internet, this wire is going to go high or low, depending on what you have it set to. Most radios and most systems will be PTT high. So we're going to solder that onto there, onto the pad. And the reason we do this jumper off the chip is because if you solder that wire directly, because this wire is going to see more movement and torque than that is. That's why we have a little jumper. So we got that going for us. And then the last wire, of course, is receive audio. This is a yellow wire. This is what the sound card is going to be listening to. So this would be your speaker or audio output from the radio. Very important that these are done right, because otherwise you'll have the problem Mr. BEZ has where the radio will key up, but you'll have no sound.
All right, I think that's my only problem. I don't think I made the first mistake. So I made this mistake with the yellow wire. So that goes to, for Linko people, that goes to, what did you say it goes to? Transmit, receiver audio input?
This yellow wire from the sound card would plug into the transmit audio. Hold on, wait. No, okay. Now you're confusing me too. The yellow wire, the yellow wire will go to speaker output of the radio. Audio out from the radio goes to the yellow wire.
All right. So if I read you these, so this is a Linko pinout. Okay. Number one is the core signal or COS. That's on the far right corner of the plug. Top, there's 9 pins. So that would be number one, top right-hand corner. Okay. So we talked about what that was. So number two next to it, 2 comes after 1. Receiver audio output. This audio is on the pin, is not de-emphasized due for 9600 baud packet data. So we're using that pin, right? And we said that was the black wire, did we?
If the audio is coming out of the radio, it's going to go into the yellow wire. If it's going into the radio, it's going to be the black wire.
Okay. Maybe I'm not clear on that too, but
black wire is going to be audio input on the radio. So whatever pin you have that the radio accepts input audio from, that's what you plug in the black wire to.
All right. Well, maybe I have that one reversed too. Maybe pin 2 should be black.
If you have the yellow one reversed, you also have the black one reversed because.
Right. So black TX audio should go to pin 2 and a Linko, it's called receiver audio output. Do I have that right?
Hold on. Yes, you do. Black wire will go to receiver audio output.
Okay. So let me mark that in my book here, because this is going to be like the diary of ages to come.
Diarrhea.
Really? So number 2 is black. Your black wire goes to number 2 of a Linko DB9 connector. We established what the white wire was. That is COS or COR.
Yes.
I can think of a few acronyms for COR, but this is neither in the time nor place.
Don't start.
So number 3 according to their pinout, is called transmitter audio input. The audio on this pin is not pre-emphasized, 9600 baud again.
Yep.
So I'm going to take an educated guess to prove to the audience that I have an IQ over 25.
Okay.
I would say that is the yellow wire. Am I right?
Correct. Correct.
Excellent. I'm marking it in the book.
Next, before, let me get one last word in here. What I like to do with these 4 wires before I go putting these on anything else is I like to put a bit of heat shrink on them. So I'm gonna take some blue heat shrink here and just put it up on the wires, because you want to keep these from pulling more on one wire than on the other. See how they're curled up? If we start pulling on these, they're going to not be straight, and you want them to be straight. So what I usually do is I put some heat shrink relatively close there to the board itself. And then we're going to just shrink it up. I got a fan blowing through here. All right. That looks good to me. All right. Well, now I can say we're pretty much done. The next thing I do want to do here is connect this to a USB device and actually show you the pins going high and low. But I'm using my laptop for audio, and if I plug it into that, y'all are gonna hear weird noises and everything. All right, there we go. There's the finished product. We have the 4 wires here, and this is pretty much what I shipped Mr. BEZ there. Got everything the same length. That looks professional, doesn't it? Almost professional. It's no plastic case on it, but I could 3D print something maybe. But there's your cable. So what I did for the repeater, I got one of these. Oh, I dropped a piece of it. Go. All right, I have one of these guys. It's a DB9 connector with a breakout board on it. And once I had that, I referenced the RC210 repeater controller pinout diagram, which told me which pins did what. And I simply soldered these, not soldered, but I added these wires to the DB9 connector and just plugged it into the repeater. And there you go. I have audio interface, and that is now, I have one of these on the repeater. So if you connect, Allstar and Echolink are online for the KM4OVZ repeater. The node is 542850, and on Echolink, it is just KM4OVZ/R, running off one of these. So there we go. I think that's pretty much it for this guide. I could plug this into the computer here briefly and demonstrate how this works. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it in, and then I'm going to make sure my audio stabilizes. I'm going to have to switch back to the other microphone. I have to run in the house and get a USB extension too. I'll be right back. Y'all still hear me, by the way?
Yeah,
No, nobody was talking for a while there.
everybody's gone.
Oh, everybody's gone. All right. Actually, we only lost one person. And I have not been watching the YouTube chat. I'm sorry if people have been talking there. If our friend Connor's been there asking very pertinent questions. I have not been watching that because I've been preoccupied with this. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug this in and y'all are going to lose my audio for a second, but I'll fix it. Plug in a sound card and it's going to go crazy there for a moment. All right, I should be back. Providing it doesn't switch again. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
All right. So the sound card is plugged in. The light flashes. That's the other thing. Ian, I made one of these for Ian, and he thought the light flashing was important, but it's really not. The light always flashes. So one thing I did forget to do here is strip some of these wires. So I'm going to strip this back a little bit. That's really all I need to strip right there is that wire. Okay. So the way this thing works, and I'm going to grab myself an alligator clip here. Hey, I actually found two. I was actually able to locate two alligator clips. That never happens. All right, we're going to clip one probe here onto the positive wire. We're going to clip the other probe onto a ground. This is something else that I should have mentioned earlier. Whatever device you have this connected to has to be grounded. So if you have one end of this plugged into a Raspberry Pi and the other end into a radio, make sure that the Pi's ground is the same as the radio's ground. So run yourself a wire from the ground of the Pi. There's a pin, several of the GPIO pins are grounds.
I didn't do that. Can I not do that? I don't want to mess with my header. Can I use the hood of the USB-C connected jack inside?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can also get what I used to do. I don't have any here on hand, but the little plugs that you plug onto those pins, the headers. I just cut one of those wires off and ran it to the Pi. But we do need a ground here. And I don't have a convenient place to steal ground from. Oh, wait. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Hang on just 1 second.
Yeah.
I absolutely do have a ground that I can leech off here.
Ah, boy.
Let me hook this up and I'll show you how to set up your invert PTT and everything like that. The de-emphasized audio too, none of that matters. Once the radio is operating, that's when you can worry about pre-emphasis and de-emphasis. If you hear audio and it sounds really overdriven and loud, that's when you say, okay, I need to start looking at these other settings, but you don't need to do those until the very end.
All right, where's my stripper? Can't find it. I was just using it. I need a giant pegboard.
Okay, so we have this meter hooked up to the COS line and ground for this Pi. So what I'm going to do is launch Audacity. That actually lets me choose my output device separately. We're going to play out over the USB audio device, and I need to open up a sound file now. What do I have on this computer? I don't have any like music on here or anything. What I do have is station IDs for the repeater on the old frequency. So, nope. All right. Playing out on the audio device. Okay, so when I hit this, it should go high on that pin. Now, actually going out for that? I'm not sure if this works on a Windows machine. It might only work with a Raspberry Pi.
I think it went low.
0.0. That may actually be what's going on here because the Raspberry Pi does interface with this sound card differently than a normal.
You may need a pull-up resistor or something.
No, it just, when you plug it into a Pi, yeah, that's what's going on. When you plug this thing into a Pi, so the sound card has, so you know, like if you have a pair of headphones that have a button on them to change the volume, not like a resistor, but something that actually, say like a pair of Apple earbuds with the little controller on them, they change the volume up and down function by changing the resistance across one of the poles on the TRRS connector. That's the way this works. It actually has that function built into it. So the way the Pi knows that it's got the COS signal and the way that it sends out a PTT signal is by making use of this chip's built-in volume up-down functions. If you plug this into a computer and you have a radio on the other end, like for example, with one of these interface boards for a Baofeng that I made, this monstrosity, it will actually, whenever the radio receives a signal, the volume on the computer will start going down, like the Windows volume level will go down. And I was very temporarily using one of these as an interface for the repeater. I had a Baofeng. Oh yeah, I wanted to show this thing again. The key down Baofeng repeater of shame radio. We have our Baofeng here with wires, and we have a fan with a whole bunch of diodes on it to step down the voltage.
Yeah.
This was the key down repeater of shame box that I had built when I didn't have an interface cable yet. So anyway, why did I bring that up? Oh yeah, okay. So I had this thing plugged in with this cable and this interface board into a laptop so that I could have a Zello connected channel on the repeater. And I had to install a program called Volume Lock, which locks Windows volume level, because if you leave it plugged in, it'll just drop the volume level on Windows to 0, and then it just won't work. So it's not a perfect solution if you're trying to interface with something like Echolink. I mean, you'd have to install that program, which I believe costs money after the trial period is expired. So there's that, I guess. But there we go. That's about all I have for the CM108 modification. This one turned out really nice. I'm very happy with how the wires came out. It turned out really, really nice. So we're still doing the giveaway. If somebody wishes to set up an Allstar node and connect it, or an Echolink node, and connect it to our repeater system that we're working on, I will mail one of these to you for free. And we currently already have a single repeater on the system. That repeater is mine. So if you need one of these, I will send it to you for free, because you can buy these and do it yourself, but unless you can solder like I can, it might be good to make use of it. So let me know. Send me an email at km4ovz@gmail.com if you want me to send you one of these. And there we go. I guess we're done. There's not much else for me to show. I can show the rest of the workbench. It's a big mess.
So it's like mine. Oh,
There's my
You
soldering.
know what?
I got a soldering iron like that.
What's up? At the
It's
radio's
like
up
Fort
there.
Myers Beach after the hurricane.
You know what I have? If a piece of equipment is not working, I have this stuff here called On, and you spray it on an electronic and it will work. It's canned air, but it's On brand, so it turns stuff on.
What does it do? Lower the temperature or something like that?
Well, if you hold it upside down, it shoots out a blast of frost, but it's not
Yeah.
what I use it for. Other than that, I guess we're pretty much done here. This has been the setup. It's In my room, I share it with somebody, so I don't have a spot for my own workbench. So I've been out here using this. Can I switch cameras here? It's me. Ah, there we go, the wide angle.
Sweet.
I've got the satellite dish up there. It's not set up. I have the RC trucks. This is my 80-watt amplifier. I have another amp up here, the Mirage 100-watt UHF amp. That thing is really cool. Just some other assorted mess on the floor. Very big mess. It's not my fault though, okay? It's too many people trying to live in too small a house. That's not my fault.
Well, you're gonna have to move, right?
Yeah, well, we have a house under construction that is gigantic. I was out there today. That thing is huge. And then I will definitely have my own bedroom. And
Are you gonna invite Mauricio as a housewarming person?
absolutely not. Listen to me. Trust me, dude. Listen. Throw away all that old stuff you got. I told Mauricio about these sound cards, this exact thing here. I was telling Mauricio about it, and he was like, just throw all that stuff in the garbage. Just throw it in the garbage. What you need to get is get this pre-made thing. And I think he just listed off the box that you have, the Rimalenko thing.
Yeah.
But I tried to tell him that these things work really nice and I have good luck with them. He's like, no, man, just I had Mikey made me a couple of those and they broke after 6 months. They stopped working. It's like, well, there's your problem. You had Mikey making them for you.
So the thing to remember is that black that you have here on your card. See, everybody, I got a card from Mr. State Wad. Very informative card. Can everybody read that?
Yes. Oh, let me just unspotlight myself.
I can't.
So
see
the
it.
important thing to remember is black wire that you have billed as TX audio actually goes to the receiver audio output of your radio. Correct, Joe?
Yes, that's correct.
Or did I?
No, you're
Okay.
you're correct.
Now the yellow wire, which you have billed as RX audio, see that, everybody? RX audio actually goes to transmitter audio input of the radio. Do I have that right, Joe?
You do. And again, it's not that my card is wrong. It's just that it's written from the perspective of the sound card.
Okay. And then the most important pin is push to talk, which on an Alinco is pin 7. So that would be the red wire.
Yes.
Red for fire, fiery people like me,
Yes.
right? I get agitated easily, right? So I'm a triple fire. I was born in July and I was born in the 70s and I'm angry all the time.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not angry enough to throw it out the window, but I was today, dude. You can't get angry with electronics. You just have to develop patience.
It's
Yeah.
like getting angry with computers. The angrier you get, the less likely they are to do what you want them to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that by firsthand experience.
Wow.
And it doesn't do any good to get in a hurry either.
That's it.
Yep, you got it. I think I might try and take that section of the net and turn it into a video. I don't know if I'll have to do a voiceover at the end. But it turned out pretty good, I think. And there's a guide on how to do this as well if you want to go find this. Let me see if I can show the full URL here. There we go. There's the URL.
Can't even see it.
Well, that's dumb.
Yeah.
allstarsetup.com/how to modify a CM108 for Allstar. There you go. That's the place.
That reminds me, you never sent me a bill.
Dude, it would take more effort to get the money from you than it would to just say, keep
No.
it.
No, because when I blow this thing up and I come back to you and I say, send me a new one, you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna say, stick it. You're gonna say, stick it.
I'll send you this one. I'll send you this one that I made. No, man, this costs like $3. It's not worth it. If you need 5 more, then we'll talk. But
I did order the DB9 connectors on Amazon.
you get these things here.
I did not get those. I got the cheap ass ones where I'm soldering right and back. See what I'm doing here, everybody? This is what I've been doing the whole day.
Solder.
Wait, what?
I'm soldering. Right? See that?
Oh
See
my
that?
gosh.
That
really?
mother, that MF
Solder
right
cut
there.
type. Oh, yeah. I've used those.
That's
my
what I'm
gosh.
doing. That's what I done did all day. I'm working on microphones since 1979 and talking on CB. So that's what I've been doing. I do it the hard way. I don't know why I do it that way.
Dude, if I had known it was a DB9, I would have sent you one of these in the package.
I asked you that. Yo, man.
I didn't know it was a
ruined my whole
DB9.
week by bringing that up.
Oh, I didn't know it was a DB9, man. I must have not read it in the I only realized it was a DB9 after I had mailed it to you because you told me. Well, if you need another one, I'll send you one of these. These are great.
Damn, I thought you knew them Alinco radios, man.
I have no experience. I don't know where you got the idea. I knew Alinco radios. I've never had one or used one.
So Joseph, where do you get those DB9s like you've got?
Amazon.
Amazon?
It's just a I believe this is the male version DB9 breakout
Yeah,
board.
it's a
Just
male,
search
yeah.
DB9 breakout.
Yeah.
Then the pins are numbered and everything. You even have the ground. It's fantastic.
Sweet.
Oh,
Comes with
boy.
the little case and the little stress reliever. You
Yeah.
put that in there and you clip it shut and you've got yourself a professional
You're
cable.
done. Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, they're really nice. There we go. I need to put this in a bag or something. How much does a tape measure cost? See, my problem is whenever I see a question like that, I just answer it. So I think when I read that, I was just like, oh, they go anywhere from $5. I just answered the question. I didn't even register. Oh, what's going on with that?
Did you read about the shoplifting cartels in the New York Post? Do you even get the New York Post down there?
No, I don't even. I don't read mainstream media news.
This is tabloid, almost tabloid media, but it's
You
divided.
get that on the web. I read that on the web.
I
don't
buy
get
it in
paper.
paper for $3.
I don't get paper. I just get it on the web. They got a website.
It shows a Target shoplifter being ran after by Mauricio. Literally, Mauricio was chasing him.
Oh, yeah, Mauricio would do that.
He loves. So it's 2 cops up in the Big Apple chasing this shoplifter and trying to inhibit all these stores from closing, because what they're doing is they have these systematic shoplifter cartels,
Yeah.
which are, they're targeting Target.
California has this too.
Well, I noticed that I stayed at a hotel in the bad section of San Francisco, the real crappy.
Where they shit in the streets.
Yeah, the real crappy precinct of Frisco, which is called the Tenderloin.
Yeah.
And they had some security guard, some tough looking guy at the Walgreens. And so nobody was really messing with him, but I'm sure it happens on a regular basis. But up here, there's Walgreens and the one I go to called ShopRite. No, what's it called? I'm losing it here.
I don't know where you go.
Rite Aid. Right.
Right.
Right. That's a national chain, I believe. And those have been
Yeah.
closing in New York because they're ripping off little kids' toys and, these cars that go back and forth.
Really?
The stuff that I was playing with up until 3 years ago when I found out I had bigger and better hobbies to master. My next hobby, Joe, is going to be a 2-pill driver.
Oh,
I need desperately a 2-pill driver. I got a 1-pill. It's called the Deer Hunter. It swings about 80 watts. But I'd like a 2-pill with Toshibas.
you have to get with Roatigo.
Oh, he kicked us off today. I got numerous texts from him while we were talking on Zello
What?
asking, well, I would get the test, but I thought there was a group test. So I thought you were reading the same test. So I didn't alert you to this matter. So from Relampago or Sergio, I forget,
Relampayo?
I was getting warnings. He was saying, please, gentlemen, go to digital. Go to digital.
Okay.
Use this anymore.
Probably Ruben or 55.
It was probably Ruben. So
Yeah, Ruben
he'd
would be the one.
prefer. And then I went back and I couldn't find the text. I thought it would be in the archive, but I couldn't find it. So I got to scroll back and see if it's there. But I didn't.
Oh.
He said his phone number. He gave me his phone number.
Yeah. Well, ask him for what you got to do, and I probably have the. Didn't I send you? Well, I sent you the stuff for the Miami Hams group. I didn't send you the stuff for Miami Hams digital, but I can send you the.
Just send it.
I
Yeah.
did send you the. I sent you the login for Miami Hams. I didn't send
Yeah.
you the login for Miami Hams digital.
Am I talking to Connor or Joe?
What?
Am I talking to Connor or Joe? How is Miami Hams pertinent to this matter? Just send me the login for digital.
I will.
Because when I blow this note up in a minute here, I'm gonna have to have somebody to yell at.
Well, you can talk to Relampayo and his aliens.
Relampayo.
Relampayo is the guy who says, the aliens are here, man. They're here. They're here to clean this mess up, man. That's Relampayo. And they're here. We got the reptilians.
Did you know that Miami in the 80s, when I was growing up, used to have daylight violence? In broad daylight, there were shootings in Miami.
Yeah, I knew that.
You know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, riots down there too.
It's common knowledge, but I didn't think Joe was old enough to know that. They don't
Well,
teach that as a high school elective.
No, I've just found out just by Top Gear, I think, did a special on Miami. They were like, you go down 28th Street, you'll be shot. And I talked to Sergio about it. I was like, dude, if I ever come to Miami or something for a field day or a ham fest in the coming years, how do I not get killed? And he's like, oh, you just got to know where to not go. I'll show you where to go and everything. I was like, oh, great. So I got to rely on a guide to not get killed.
I stay on Biscayne Boulevard when I'm there.
And Atlanta is kind of like that too. There's certain places there you don't want to go either, particularly at night.
Where? Fort Misery?
Atlanta.
What?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah. Every big city, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
Dude,
all right,
everybody.
I got one more wire to desolder and resolder here.
Man, well, you're braver than me trying to do it on the back of those pins.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I had Radio Shack CBs and I was always trying to wire in Cobra mics. And this is what it would be like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really that hard, but
Just frustrating when you've been doing it all day. I know how it is.
well, for somebody like Connor to attempt this on all that crystal meth that he does. Anyhow, No more about Connor. I've beaten that dead horse. So
He's not even here. Or at least not right now.
are you done?
I'm done with the sound card stuff, so we're just hanging out for now. I'm helping you with your thing and hanging out. We'll keep it open for a while longer here. Because like this sort of information with these specific projects, is you can never find this kind of thing online. And to be fair, you're not even going to find it very easily through the TechNet unless you sit through the entire thing. I mean, I'm going to put the keywords in, but
But this is the way I did it, ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty nasty. But I went from the original fob cable, which is one of these gray cables. I have it sitting on the floor going to the original interface right now. And then to here. It's pretty nasty, but it will work.
It works.
what up? Well, I guess we'll see here in a minute if it works.
Here is, well, I gotta make sure that I got red going to pin 7. If it's not pin 7, I'm screwed. So here's the original fob, the original interface.
Oh, that's the old style CM108.
Yeah, we
Dude,
talked
he's
about-
got he left the connectors on it.
What do you mean the connectors? Oh yes, he did. He left the connectors on it, and then he did it this clever way of using those connectors as a go through, not a go to, but a go through onto the board.
Oh,
And then he
boy.
has these trimming caps, these trim caps behind it. See?
What?
See these caps?
Yeah.
Those go through. Okay, so
Why did
I have to look down here. I wish I had like more light, but the light's on the opposite side of the room, which is no good for this picture.
Yeah.
So he left the connectors on, and those are what, stereo connectors?
Yeah, TRRS or TRS. You can just plug an audio jack, a standard 3.5 millimeter audio jack into it. I mean, I guess that's nice because if you want to like use the speaker output or something, that would be nice, but it would probably interfere with your PTT and costs.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Mr. KC1AR made that.
Yes. Back when he was nice.
KC1AR. I remember talking to him. Doesn't he work at Publix?
That's what they said about that. That was what the rumor was about him,
I
that
think.
he worked at Publix.
I think. No. What? I could be confusing him with Ice.
He just joined the Zoom meeting. Lou, is that you?
Uh-oh. Is this our friend?
No, it couldn't
No,
be.
it's Dave. It's Dave.
Okay, it's Dave.
We KC1AR, I believe I spoke to him one night and he said something about not like I don't know. I talked about an amplifier I had or something. He's like, "Oh man, I wish I had time for that." And I was like, "Well, why don't you just do it?" And he's like, "I do the opening up and shutting down portion of Publix." So he goes there at 4 a.m. in the morning and makes sure the doors work. And
That was a sarcastic comment. He hasn't worked an honest day of hard work in his life. He claims he used to build roads in Connecticut, and he claims to have known the Connecticut mob in Hartford. Oh, and his biggest accomplishment, this is what I really liked learning about, was the fact that he used to design mics with extra audio, a little bit more gain than those Cobra mics and D104s.
he's
And he used to sell them on the CB. So he would have all these CBers coming over to his mom's house in the 1960s and sell them to these guys, coming over and say, "Yo, man, can I get one of them?" And he made a business of it. And it was
Wow.
pretty cool, I think. He's a very intelligent person. He don't like me no more because, I just He accused me one night of double natting, and he just went on from there. So I used to connect router to routers and then to an Allstar node. He didn't like that. So
What does he care?
I don't know. He thought I was asking impertinent questions. So, but I told him I had to do it because I was staying at this girl's house and she was all Mac. I mean, women these days are just, they can't use PC for some reason. So she had one of those white boxes for Mac, you know, the air, what are they called? Airports.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I was tapping off her airport to my TP-Link router to an Allstar node. And there was some delay, and he went crazy. He says, "You're just doing that to piss us off." And I'm like, "No, I have to do it this way. I'm going to get killed by this woman if I take apart her, if I put her airport out of line." So he thought I was out of line.
Golly.
All right, so I'm about to solder the last pin here, the red. I'm putting red to pin 7. If it doesn't work, I'm throwing it out the window.
You'll get it. You'll get it.
Oh, and the ground I'm using is soldered right to the edge of the connector. Can you see that right there? The
That
lighting
works.
is so poor.
That'll work. There should be a pin in the pin out. Is none of the pins ground?
Yes, one of the pins is ground, and that's pin number 5. Maybe I'll use that.
Well,
But I like it the way it is.
it should be connected to that shield as well, so it doesn't matter.
Just jumper 5 to the shield.
What did you do today, Joe, instead of work?
Well, half of the day was work. Then I got off early because there was nothing left for me to do. So I called the Motorola shop and they told me again that my duplexers were not ready. So then I just sat at the office for 30 minutes because that's where the repeater is, and I was port forwarding so I could access it from the house. And once it was port forwarded, I came home and I sat for 30 minutes trying to get my Echolink up and running. It is surprisingly easy to get an Allstar node to host an Echolink node. I was amazed. It actually worked the first time, which is never the case with Allstar stuff.
Wow.
Because everybody I tell is like, oh, I have an Allstar, and they're like, oh, Allstar, I got to make an interface, all this stuff. Like, well, if I set up Echolink, then all I need is an app on their phone.
Well,
and now I can use it too, because Allstar likes to not let some of my clients connect. Like, it won't let the phone version of DudeStar connect, but it'll let the computer version connect for whatever reason. Should be able to connect to my node here.
oh, you don't have Xfinity down there, do you?
Up here?
Yeah.
No. We use Comcast here.
Well, that's the same thing.
Sorry. Well, no, we use AT&T. Sorry.
Oh, 18.
AT&T. I thought they went stage left.
No, they're here. The office uses WOW, a service called WOW, which actually had a nationwide outage for a couple hours a few days ago. I think it was Wednesday. They had a nationwide outage and everybody got on the ham radio and was like, is your internet working? No.
Okay, so I'm eliminating the orange wire here. And I'm just going red to red, simple as can be. But you got to remember, folks, I'm going through the old cable here, so I got twice as much work to do. I don't mind working. I'm not, like an American Indian. Oh, by the way, I was reading the book about Foxwoods Casino, and I did this podcast back 2 years ago in February. And American Indians on Indian Pequot land got literally checks for $100,000 just for being alive.
Wow.
Back in the 70s and 80s, they got checks. to go to school with, to get re-educated for this whole government funding thing to fund Mashantucket Pequot Indians. And they built the world's giant casino that I used to go to professionally, professional card counting. I mean, I did it all there.
We all need to go to Elizabeth Warren and find out how to be declared an Indian.
There's just so much money out there. It's like, I don't know.
Oh,
I guess it's out there for the taking. You can figure out a way to get food stamps and. That's a good one.
Yeah, I found my sound machine in storage. See, oh, I've if anybody cares, probably not, but I'll say it anyway. My Kenwood TS440 that won't transmit on 20 meters. I've done some more diagnostics on it, and it does not transmit from 7.5 megahertz to 14.5 megahertz. I am suspecting the switching relays, because those two frequencies, if you go a kilo, a hertz, 1 hertz above it or below it, that's where the relay clicks, the band switching relay. And in the back of the radio, there's this row of little yellow Omron relays and subsequent coils for each one that I believe are responsible for the different bands. So I think I have some dirty contacts on relays or failing relays. And sometimes if you sit there and you click it back and forth between the two bands several times, it'll start working. So I don't think it's a finals issue.
well, that's good news.
It actually is a lot better than some of the other things it could be. If it's just relays, that really helps narrow it
I'll make
down.
it easy.
Yeah, I hope so. I plan to take it apart this weekend and diagnose
Is
it.
that ham bands only, or is that general coverage?
I have it unlocked to general coverage,
Yeah.
but that covers the 30 and 20 meter bands. So when it's not working 20 and 30 meters, whenever you key down, you have 0 power put out, you have 40 amps drawn from the power supply, and the S meter goes to 0 for everything. SWR, ALC, power all goes to 0. And if you really crank it up, it'll draw like 50 amps from the power supply, and the power supply will shut down. It's never even supposed to go above 20 amps. So
Yeah, look at your relays.
it's probably a relay issue. I did some
You have a
FTA.
service
with it.
manual on it?
I do.
Yeah, that's good.
I just have to get it out here on the bench, take it apart.
All right,
Sometimes-
Joe.
Yeah,
I'm-
what's up?
I'm literally 20 seconds away from the most groundbreaking, earth-breaking part of the year.
He's gonna set off
Today,
his
I
nuclear
declare
power.
November 18th to be what do they call that in metaphysics? A day of ascension. I'm going to ascend.
Oh, I thought you were gonna call it cataclysmic event.
Yeah, cataclysmic event. Okay, so I think I have everything soldered correctly here. So if I plug it in and I blow up the Raspberry Pi, I don't care. I'm not going to charge you, Joe.
It won't blow up.
I'm just checking here. I got white, black, yellow, and red on the bottom on pin 7. If we find that pin 7 is not the push to talk, now should I have one of these? These came with the original fob. These are just connectors.
Oh, well, I wouldn't do that yet.
So I don't think I need to do that yet. I'll just plug it in and back. All right.
Upon seeing the bright flash of nuclear explosion, bend over and kiss your ass goodbye.
I didn't redo the ground wire. I'm leaving it my way.
Yeah, that should work. As long as there's continuity from that shield on the Pi or the cover of the connector on the Pi to the USB shield, which I'm 99% sure it is. It'll be fine. As
All
long
right.
as the radio ground also uses that, which it should if it's.
Are you going to tell your customers your procedure? Do you turn on the Raspberry Pi first or the radio or both at the same time?
Radio first.
Okay, radio first. I've never done it that way.
Well, that's just so that when the Pi turns on and starts saying node 1, 2, 3, you can hear it, right away. Should come on and announce the IP address and the node number.
See, 445.500. Sorry for the mess here, guys. I always get this hum. This is an El Stinko radio.
Well, the hum is probably caused by RF getting into the connector, but we can worry about that later unless it's causing us a PTT problem.
All right, I'm plugging it in. And remember, I did change invert PTT to 1 instead of 0. I may have needed to leave that at 0 in the simple USB config.
It may also.
Nothing's failing here, though. See that dead key? She's not talking. I want to hear Linda.
Give it a second.
It's not gonna. There it is. Dead key. Third dead key.
Okay, but that's also semi-normal. So you're not getting audio.
Okay, she just unkeyed, so that's a good sign. It used
Okay,
to be
okay.
all day.
So your communication appears to be working between the radio and this. You're just not getting sound. Does that radio have a data mode?
The link radio?
Yeah. Do you have to put it into a data mode? Does it have a pin that has to be shorted for it to be in data mode?
Here she goes keying again.
All right. Well, it's probably telling you the time or something.
Yes, I can put this into data mode. Should I throw it into data mode?
Absolutely. And
It's in data mode.
okay.
Now let's see what happens if I key the mic. Nothing. It's not responding to the link radio.
Okay. Do you
Your
not?
light goes orange.
Your light is, you got interference in the shack or something. It looks like your radio is putting out confusing signals, but
Yeah.
you just redid everything and it's still behaving exactly the same as before, which tells me there's something up with the radio settings.
Yeah. I why don't we look at the matrix first? Why don't I go into the
Good
tune
idea.
menu? Let me get in here. Let me log myself into the tune menu. I'm not using WinSCP, everybody. I'm just going right into shell.
Yeah,
Through WinSCP.
There's no reason to use WinSCP or PuTTY for that matter. Every guide ever is like, yeah, install PuTTY on your computer so you can SSH in. Just open the built-in program called CMD or from Linux's terminal. I don't know why people think you need PuTTY to
use SSH.
Yeah, exactly. There, I'll tell you to install PuTTY. You don't need PuTTY.
Okay, I'm doing option number 12 on the Allstar menu. It's this beautiful, I love DOS. I'm running simple USB 2 menu application, choice number 12. All right, now I'm going to click, now I'm going to hit
You need V.
print current parameter values, P.
No, wait, hold on. You want to push V to view live telemetry, right?
All right, let's view live telemetry. Okay, P, real-time RX, COS composite, clear. COS input, clear.
Okay.
COS test, clear. CTCSS input, clear.
Okay.
CTCSS override, clear.
Okay.
PTT, clear. Now,
All right.
I want to see what happens when I key the mic. Nothing happens.
It doesn't change at all.
No change. No change.
What happens whenever you do you have a way of connecting to that node any other way to get it?
No, I used to use
push,
IAX.
it's either F or D to do the one that says flash PTT and test tone. I think it's D or F. I can't remember.
All right, it's D. It's D. It's keying and
Okay,
unkeying.
it's keying and unkeying. So that's a good sign. Your PTT is functioning correctly. You're not getting audio in and out of the radio. So that radio, I don't know what. Okay, just tell me what the model of radio is.
It's an Alinco Mark III DR435 monobander, just 440. None of that 2-meter crap.
Okay. I'm gonna look up here and find this diagram or the manual or something, because
Remember, I just set it to data mode, and that was not a game changer.
all right.
I want to keep. I'm taking it out of data mode. Is that okay?
Well, if it doesn't change anything, then yeah, but you may have to be in data mode for it to accept audio from that pin.
Okay, so your fob is working because I see a blinking red light on your fob.
Well, that light's always gonna blink.
Oh, I thought that was a live light, like it was receiving data from Allstar or something.
No,
Oh,
that
yeah.
light always blinks.
All right, I knew that.
What a stupid. What is this? Okay.
Damn.
Pulling up the manual now here.
Yeah, you should see the back of that DB9 connector on there. Should I unplug my soldering iron? I don't think we're done yet. I don't think I'm going to be done until 5 a.m.
Oh gosh, please no. Digital voice communication.
How many subscribers do we have watching now?
We had like 4 last time I checked. Packet operation, page 39. That's what we're using as the packet port. So, well, there's only 28 pages in this manual, and it says to go to page 39. So something ain't quite right here. Oh, it's 2 pages of man. Oh, that's dumb. What is this? Packet operation. Packet mode is 9-pin RS-232, which is also known as a DB9 cable. To packet operate, configure the radio to a known packet, install the plug. Remove the cover, I guess, of the radio. Locate the W1 cable on the back of the D sub -9, the DB9 connector. Disconnect it and reconnect it to C1 on the EJ41U unit.
Yeah, I don't have one of those. I don't have an EJ card.
Okay, but what does that cable do?
That's for some packet radio thing.
Yeah, but it may matter. It may be important if it needs to see that cable disconnected.
Oh,
It might. Hold on, I'm reading some.
yeah.
Locate W2 on the unit, connect it to the CN107 on the transceiver circuit board. See, that's messing with the audio stuff. So
That's what Zimmerman warns about on his repeater builder site. I'm there right now. He says many Alinco radios have a DE9 connector on the back. When the EJ41U optional TNC board for my radio, DR435 single band radio, is not installed, the ribbon cable from the connector is plugged into the control board and audio. COR and PTC signals appear on the pins as per the left side pinout below for connection to an external TNC. But that's not telling me much.
packet mode setting, press function key when the F icon is on, press the squelch key. Little square wave appears on the LCD display and the transceiver enters packet mode. Is that what you did to get into packet mode?
Yeah, I pressed I press the function button and then squelch. And that
Okay.
put me in digital mode, which I'm out of. Because I don't,
Use the keyboard some designated commands from your PC to enter the packet network to start operation.
I don't have the optional TNC board.
I know.
I know what you're trying to do. You're engineering.
Well, I'm looking at what the pinouts are here. Okay, here's the actual pinout thing. Packet RX out. External PTT input, that's working. Packet TX in.
All right. He says, secondly, the Alincos seem to work when new, but you have to leave them in carrier squelch. Plus, over time, I have had nothing but trouble. That's bullshit. I used my Alinco radio as a node radio for years with the old fob.
Carrier in closed, open collector output. Packet reception data output, 9600 BPS. Carrier in, it says closed. So that means the pin doesn't go high when there's a carrier detected.
Which pin doesn't go high?
Okay, for the squelch signal output, for COS out, it says carrier in, and then in colon, it says closed. So that tells me that that pin either closes to ground. What is the wording on this manual? It says squelch signal output, carrier in closed, open collector output. I don't know what that means.
I've heard about that, but I have to.
You have ground. Okay, so low PTT signal input, low ground, TX open. No, open puts it in receive mode. Grounding the pin puts it in transmit mode. So this radio doesn't even use high and low pins. It looks for the switch to be open. Oh gosh.
That's what I remember about talking.
5.0 DC output.
Man, I feel like an idiot.
Well, TX is working for whatever reason. It's working, which means, yeah, see, that doesn't mean though that carrier operated switch is going to work. Carrier in, closed. I guess to ground. Doesn't say what it's closed to. I don't know. You'd have to hook a multimeter up to it and put it in continuity mode and key down on your handheld and see if it has continuity on that pin.
Which pin?
That would be pin number. Probably. Data in, data out. I guess that would be pin number 1.
Pin number 1 would be COS.
Right. So you'd have to check with the meter what it's actually doing when it receives a signal. Is it ground? Is it connecting that pin to ground? That's what it looks like it's doing. In which case, you're going to have to get the cost from. You're going to have to go to cost from and change it to USB invert, or maybe not USB invert.
Well, let me change that in the software.
Because that chip, the sound card, is looking for voltage on the white cable.
Are we still live streaming?
Yeah, we are.
Good.
That white wire is looking for voltage on that cable to tell the node. That's why whenever you key up with your handheld, it doesn't switch. Everything stays clear. That white wire is looking for voltage, and that radio appears to not be capable of putting out voltage on that pin. It's closing that pin to ground or something else. It doesn't say what it's close to.
Should I put invert PTT back to 0?
Don't touch the PTT stuff. Leave the PTT alone.
Should I go into simple USB config and do anything?
Yeah, go into simple USB config and find the entry that says cost from,
All right.
COSFROM, cost from, and see if you can change that. It'll give you 4 options. It'll give you USB, it'll give you USB invert, and then you'll have 2 tone squelch related options, which you don't need to mess with. And you may try swapping it from whatever it's currently at to the other setting. So if it's on USB, change it to USB invert. If it's the other way around, change it to whatever the opposite is and see.
All right, let me do a CD etc asterisk as they
Hold
call
on, no,
it.
you don't need to go into asterisk. You don't need to go into config. You need to go into simple USB tune menu.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Go into the tune menu.
Why? All right, I just will. I won't ask why.
Just go in and then look for the line that says cost from.
Okay, cost from mode currently USB invert.
All right, so
J.
So J, and then switch that to just plain USB.
Enter selection now. 2 USB. All right.
All right. Yeah. Now go
Nothing.
view live telemetry and see if it's doing anything.
All right, let's view live telemetry. What's that? V?
V. Yeah.
How come they do things out of order here? Nothing. PTT clear. Nothing's changing.
Nothing's gonna.
Oh, no.
change
COS input says keyed.
all the time.
But no, it says keyed all the time. And when I click the mic, it says clear. So that's the opposite of what we want.
Well, we're getting somewhere though. It says clear whenever you PTT.
Whenever I push to talk, now it says clear. And the other side of the bar, PTT always says clear.
Yeah, because if it's clear, then it's clear and whatever. When you unkeyed, is it cost say keyed?
Yes.
Okay, so that. All right, we'll go back to your exit out of live view mode and go back to the entry that you did to change it to USB and change it back to USB invert.
Okay. What was that? V?
No,
J.
cost from. Yeah,
J.
change it back to USB invert.
Okay, that's 3. All right, USB invert. What if I just hit no?
No, tell it yes.
All right, let's go V. Now it's keying. COS every time I click the mic says it goes from clear to keyed.
Okay, now that's progress. So your communication is working. That's progress.
But the radio does nothing.
Okay, does the when you unkey from the when you unkey from the handheld, does the light does the entry that says PTT, does it briefly switch to keyed?
No.
All right, then you must have telemetry turned off. So you need to go into rpt.conf. First, save your settings here and push whatever the button is to save your settings. I think it's W. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's W.
Okay, W, save your settings, get out of the simple USB config menu, and now go into rpt.conf.
All right, let me exit here. Let me go into rpt.conf. So I'm going to start a bash shell. All right.
Yep.
And I'm going to go CD.
No,
asterisk.
You don't need a CD. Just type in nano rpt.conf. You're already in the right directory. Just
Nothing. File rpt.com. Nothing. It's a big black screen.
All right, I'm wrong then. Go CD into the
I
asterisk.
knew you were wrong. I was going to say, but I don't like to mess with the master.
I'm not yeah, I think mine, I have it. It always defaults to that folder. So I always just type in the first command. That's what I was thinking of.
All right, here we go.
All right, so find the entry. You got to scroll down like
I'm
2
rolling down the
scrolls.
stanzas.
Look for the entry that says simplex node settings, and you're gonna
How
find
far down is that?
it's like 2 scrolls down, like 2 pages down. You're looking for an entry that says I want to say it's duplex equals, just set duplex equals 1. Set it to 1, I think is what you need it to be at.
All right, I'm down at ERX gain equals 3, ETX gain equals 3, telemetry equals telemetry, wait times equals,
I think you went too far.
yeah, I did.
It's like 3 scrolls from the top of the page.
That's the Echolink settings. I'm not touching that. I don't want anybody from Echolink talking to me. Because you're lazy, you people. All right. I don't even see where it is.
All right, look for you know how everything's broken up into sections and it tells you what it's talking about? Find
Yes.
the entry that says simplex node settings or repeater settings. It says like, I think it says simplex node settings in there somewhere.
IRLP, audio level settings, ID settings, dial plan settings, time settings, hang time.
Go down a little bit more.
Link settings, remote settings, miscellaneous.
Ugh.
I'm
Yeah,
almost there. I guess gotta go down a little parrot mode, which I never use.
Perrito mode.
Tail message, status reporting, channel driver. Is that important?
No, keep going.
Node lookup methods, repeater simplex mode settings. That's
There you go. You're almost there. Down like just a tiny bit more.
duplex.
Duplex, set it to 1.
It is 1.
Okay.
Should I keep going down?
No,
So there's duplex,
no.
there's control stats, there's more scheduler macro function telemetry.
No. Duplex is what we want. Hold on. I'm remoting into my node so I can look at what my config says and tell you because
Well, I might want to do team viewer with you at some point.
yeah.
Should I give you my IP address?
For SSH or what do you want me to do?
Well, how would you team viewer into my node?
If your computer has TeamViewer on it, then I could TeamViewer on your computer and use your terminal. If you have port forwarded your SSH port, which is a very bad idea, you should never forward port 22. But if you have that configured, then I could use your external IP, but you probably don't. So just don't worry about that.
No, I just did port 222 for myself.
222. Well, yeah, that works.
Which didn't work, by the way, for WinSCP. It kept kicking me out and giving me some root error message like cannot establish token or some shit.
Duplex 1, half to duplex with telemetry tones and hang time. Does not repeat audio. This mode is preferred when okay, so duplex equals 1 is good. That is correct. So when you are viewing live telemetry and you key up your handheld, the PTT should change to keyed after you unkey your handheld. That is what should happen. If that is not happening,
nope, not happening.
What?
Not happening.
Okay, then you have a software problem. So for whatever reason, the node is not repeating audio. Try rebooting the whole node.
No. This is the way I want to do it.
I've had that issue before.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I'm going to act like 55 and needy, like I need money for my car business not working. This is the way I want to do it. I want to go and do a first time config. How do I do that?
No, you don't want to go to first time.
First time, my friend, mi amigo, first time.
All right. If you want to do that, it's in the main menu.
Do you know a better way?
So it's in the main menu.
You don't want to do first time.
I thought it was in the main menu.
You want to bring me into simple USB config and look at all my settings? I can read them off to you.
No. Well, go to Simple USB and do the view live telemetry thing one more time.
Okay. All right, let me exit here, added asterisk. All right, I'm going to the tune menu.
Yeah.
I hate this. I hate doing it this way.
Do
J,
V.
No.
V to view live.
going to view. View live, whatever.
Yep. Am I right?
Okay, now I'm gonna key the mic.
Yep.
The only thing that changes is COS input goes from clear to keyed.
And PTT does nothing.
PTT stays clear, doesn't do zero. And there's nothing in parentheses. You know how it's a triple line, COS input in parentheses and then
Yeah,
clear.
That's
So
cool.
under PTT, there's nothing. There's nothing in parentheses.
All right. Isn't there? Hold on. If you
gonna be-
put it in okay, get out of the real-time telemetry and do C, toggle echo mode. Push C. Turn echo mode on.
Okay, I toggled C. Echo
All
mode
right.
changed to enabled.
All right. So when you key up that radio, it definitely does not key up after you. It doesn't respond.
No, the radio is receiving a signal, but no courtesy beep beep.
Well, no beep beep, but I'm saying, does your Olinko key up when you let go on the handheld?
Yes,
It
my
does.
link radio does. Wait a minute. Yes, it does key.
All right. So you have
But the transmit light doesn't go on. The bar meters on the top light up. The bar on the LCD display,
right.
those bars. So it's receiving my transmissions, but it doesn't key the radio.
So when you let go on the radio, that little burp, it's supposed to transmit back. Your Olinko never transmits.
Right. And the transmit light does not go on. The little light on the Olinkos does not go on. So it's not.
Okay. All right.
Man, I'm gonna need to get a new link radio.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't recommend you any ones that are not super expensive and a waste of a good radio. I don't know enough about cheap, reliable radios. That's what me and Ian were talking about today. We were trying to find a good radio. So what happens if you when you push D to toggle PTT and output tone several times?
All right,
nothing
let's do
happens.
this. Let's do that.
Your Olinko never keys up.
Yeah, it is. It's giving me a dead key. You hear that?
Okay. All right. So you
A dead
definitely
key.
have a software
again.
problem.
There it goes again.
All right, go back to the main menu. Exit out of Simple USB. Go to the main menu and do number 14, Power Cycle USB Subsystem.
This feature is not currently available.
All right, then do reboot this system. Do the number 15.
I did this before when you were absent.
Okay, I've had that issue before where it won't talk back, and rebooting fixed it for me because that's absolutely a software problem. It should be keying up after you. It's able to key up as demonstrated by the flashing mode. It's able to key up. It's just not doing it for some bizarre reason. So see if a reboot helps it. And then your only issue is audio in and out.
It's not going to help. Okay, it just keyed.
All right.
I got a signal.
And
but
it's probably trying to say no to one.
There it goes. It's a dead key with no audio, no Linda.
Yeah, okay. So
no Linda.
You've got keying.
Windows.
Audio is just not getting to the radio. So don't.
No Linda. I want to hear Linda's voice.
All right. Well, you have.
It's not keying up after me.
Okay.
I get no courtesy tones, no beep beep.
That's strange, but we can worry about that later. You're still not getting audio, so that means that. All right. So you have packet TX in, there's two different packet TX in ports. There's the pin number, what is that? Pin number 7 is packet TX in at 1200 bits per second. And then you have pin number 2 is packet TX in at 9600 bits per second. So maybe you have it in the wrong port. Maybe the radio is expecting audio over the 1200 bits per second pin and not the 9600 bits per second pin.
That's what I'm thinking. So that would bring me to pin number 4 for audio. Correct? So the black wire would go on pin number 4.
Hold on.
TX audio.
Hold up. There's this whole section here. Okay. For 1200 BPS, connect pins 4, 5, 7, and 9, and 1 and 8, also depending on the requirement. It enables a conventional 1200 packet mode. For 9600 bits per second, connect pins 2, 3, 5, 7, and 1 and 8. Which, yeah, okay. Depending on the requirement, press the function key, press squelch, and put it in. Yeah, okay. When you have the waves on the screen, the little square waves, it's in 9600 data packet mode.
Well, we're
Okay.
not using that.
What?
I'm no longer using that.
What are you using instead?
Just regular CB mode.
What? It's got to be in data mode for it to work, according to the manual.
Well,
Press
then
it.
the only thing that would logically fit is if I moved the black wire to pin number 4 and turned it to data mode. Am I right? Or am I talking out of my ass?
Well, I'm still trying to figure this out. It looks to me like you
You
have.
graduate high school in 6 months?
It was a long time ago. It was like, it's been like 2 years, 3 years or something. I don't know.
But you graduated in 6 months, right?
I don't know how long it took me. I'm homeschooled.
All right. I'm like a cop. I mean, I use all these strategies to extract information from people. It doesn't work too well.
All right, packet mode setting. You must be in the wave mode.
Okay, wave mode. I just took it out of wave mode.
Wave mode. Keep it in wave mode.
All right, so I'll bring it back to wave mode, okay?
Yeah, put it back in wave mode.
All right. I see the square wave.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere.
So I think what I want to do is, since the 1200 baud thing is pin number 4.
Packet
Do I have
TX
that?
in 1200 baud. Hold on, let me read the thing here. That would be pin number 9. for
Right.
Packet TX in, pin number 9.
Okay, let me look at my little drawing here. Transmitter audio input, that's pre-emphasized audio. That pin is looking for pre-emphasized transmitter audio. That's pin number 9.
It doesn't matter if it's pre-emphasized or not.
I know. I know.
We just need anything. If it
I feel
sounds
like
like
Boss
that-
Hog on Dukes of Hazzard. I know. I overeat.
if it sounds like diarrhea coming out of the radio, that's still a step in the right direction, because at least there's something and not a dead carrier.
Well, pin number 4 is receive audio output.
Yes, for
So,
1200 bits per second.
are you sure? Okay.
So wait, hold on. The pin that we're worried about right now would be pin. That would be pin number 4.
Okay. So
Pin
I
number
have,
4 needs to connect to the black wire. No,
okay.
hold on. Yes, no. Hold
Or
on.
is it the yellow wire?
Hold on. I'm thinking.
Is it the
Packet
black
RX out. Packet RX out would be connecting to the black wire.
Okay.
So that's pin number 4.
All right. Let me move pin number 2 to pin number 4. Black.
Move the black wire from the sound card to pin number 4.
All right. Let me shut down here. I don't know why you make me leave the radio on. I hate you for that. I'm just kidding.
We still have Rick here. Is Rick left there? If you want to go, Rick, you're welcome to. I've got the thing. I'll shut it down when we're done. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and go.
Yeah.
I've got a meeting I want to meet in the morning. So anyway, good luck with that, guys, and have fun and hopefully get it working. So,
Yes,
Thanks a
sir.
lot, Rick.
yeah,
A little
I'm gonna
Irish
head on.
luck would help.
I don't know what's going on, so I can't help much. So anyway, have a good night.
All right. Good night. 73.
73.
All right, let me move the black wire from pin 2 to pin 4.
Yes.
I got to put down my notes here. I got a big diary here. Oh, I can't swear on the air. All right. Oh, I got to remove the connector. That's what I couldn't find. All right, black to pin 4. All right, let me do that
Yes.
real quick. This better fix it, or else I am gonna.
If this doesn't fix it, I'll be truly stumped because that radio is not playing out audio.
Yeah, it really isn't.
Wait. Oh, that pin is only gonna wait. What?
I had a short here.
My brain is melting down. Hang on.
I did have a little short. I had a short between the black and the yellow pins.
Well, that would be a problem, but you'd probably still be able to hear something out. Hold on, my brain is melting down here. Black TX audio out of the card. So the black wire needs to. So black should be connected to pin 9 then.
To pin 9.
To pin 9 or pin 2.
All right. I think it's pin 9, but
You have
it is. It
I
is.
would. Oh gosh, I
it
would
is-
put it on pin 9 if I were you.
It is saying pre-emphasized, Joe. It is saying that pin is pre-emphasized.
I don't care.
Okay. All right. I'm just letting you know that's what it says in the book. I know
Black-
you don't.
Black would be. I had it back. Okay, I did have it backwards in my head. Black needs to be connected to either pin 9 or pin 2. Wait. Nah, that's pin 3. What? Pin 2 is audio out from the radio. We don't care about that. Black should be connected to either pin 3 or pin 9. Was black ever connected to pin 3?
Yes. Earlier today, and I still got that dead key issue.
And have you ever connected it to pin 9?
No.
All right, give that a try then.
All right, let me do that. You're lucky the iron's still on. I won't take 4 hours to do it.
2, 3, 5, 7.
All right, let me go to pin number 9. So you're sure not pin number 4? All right.
Pin 4. Pin number 4 would be
Receive
Have the
audio
RX out.
output.
yeah. So we don't need to worry about that yet. We only need to worry about that once we get this portion working.
All right, I got to tin this here wire.
Holy. I don't see. I need to find that repeater builder page on that Linko.
Oh, I could either email that to you.
I'll find it.
It's a repeater builder / Alinko / Alinko index stuff.html.
Okay.
repeater-builder.com / Alinko / Alinko -index.stuff -stuff.html.
Linko hyphen stuff.
Yep. Alinko hyphen index hyphen stuff.html.
Okay.
And it's this gray page. And he doesn't
Okay. I got it.
he doesn't tell me much more than I don't already know.
1, core signal. 2, receiver audio output. This is not the other side. Yeah, transmitter output. Yeah, I get it. Receiver audio output. But why?
I think I know what I did wrong here. I didn't put the red wire on pin number 7. I put it on number 8. Hang on. Did I put it on number 8? Hang on.
PTT input is active low.
No. I didn't put it on. I have it on pin 7. I did that right. Red goes to pin 7. The push to talk. I'm not going to solder anything until you tell me to. Should I solder black to 9?
Yeah, go ahead and try it.
Okay. I think I got COVID. Did you get the duck shucking booster?
I didn't get anything. I'm not getting that crap. You kidding me?
Yeah, I felt nasty after the booster.
Yeah. You're one of them liberals that lives up in Arkansas. Oh, you live in Vermont. That's a liberal place.
Oop, I soldered it to the wrong wire here. I gotta go below. Shit.
See, the problem is I don't know what the deal is with this radio. I don't.
I know what you mean. You don't know what the deal is with the thing where it thinks it's about to receive a signal, but it's not set up to go high or low. Is that what you're saying?
No, that portion is fine. I don't get how to put it into either mode. You have 96 baud or you have 1200 baud. I guess the radio just listens to both wires all the time, I guess.
I don't know. I thought it. Does he say anything useful on that page?
Not really. Just complains about the quality of the radio for 5 minutes.
Yeah. He complained about his neck when I called him on the phone. He said, I gotta go. He was like Mauricio. I gotta go. He wouldn't talk for very long.
I gotta go to the store and buy some stuff because I cook better than my wife. That's what he says. I guess this is more or less the same as what's on my Kenwood or my Yaesu. It doesn't really have a switch for 9600 or 1200. It just has the 2 different pins, and I guess you put audio into whichever one you want it to use, but it doesn't matter.
All right, I got it on pin 9.
All right, plug it in. Make sure the radio's on first. That way, if it utters a single peep, you'll hear it on the handheld.
All right.
Also, after this, if this doesn't work, I gotta go.
Yeah.
It's 10:30 here, but we can keep working on it over email over the weekend if you want.
Yeah. Do you have my Discord?
No, I don't use Discord anymore. I think I still have. Yeah. I'm not joining any of your blackjack Discords.
No. My private Discord.
No, I don't have that. If you email that to me, we can use that.
That might be helpful.
Yeah, if you give that direct.
I think I call it Jake or Jack, some shit. But it's tough to email, but I'll try.
Yeah, you just write your username and then the 4-digit code associated with your account.
Right. What time is it there?
10:30 p.m.
What time is it here? Eastern time.
You're in Eastern?
11:28.
Oh yeah.
All right, should I put it in packet mode?
Yes.
All right, let me plug in the Pi. Dead key.
Dead key again?
Still the same dead key. Same dead key. I want to take it out of dead key again.
I can see it, yeah. You don't happen to have CTCSS decoding on that radio and then just don't have the right tone or something like. I guess you don't because I can hear the noise. So.
Oh, you know what? It says tone on the radio. Shit.
Well, that's fine if as long as your handheld doesn't have tone enabled. It doesn't matter if the radio.
The radio says tone, but it's not set to any tone. It's just I can look at the software. I have the Alinco, the programmer,
No,
the DR435 programmer.
it doesn't matter. The only tone that matters is on the handheld. As long as the handheld doesn't have tone squelch turned on, we're good.
All right, it doesn't.
Okay, then that's all I'm worried about. Because what could happen is if you did have that enabled and it was set to the wrong tone, that thing could key up and play audio, and the handheld would show the light, but it would just be a dead key. So, sounds like you're not getting sound into the radio for whatever reason. So I'm going to research that radio some more tonight. And
go to sleep.
while I'm falling asleep, I'll read about it.
Sleep. Go sleep. I'm doing that because I used to date a Korean girl from she used to do sepsis experiments at a hospital.
Oh.
And she would make me, the purple rice because they eat breakfast for lunch and lunch for breakfast. Her daughter used to eat the dessert before dinner. She used to take a piece of pie and eat the dessert before the main course. She was so weird. She had a nice body too.
Normal.
She had a nice body, like.
All right. Well, it's about time for me to head to bed. So
yeah, I'm gonna do the same, Joe. But listen, you sell quality merchandise here. I mean, this thing worked out awesome.
Hey, we made progress. You've got the dead key and you've got the telemetry showing up in your simple USB. So that's a step in the right direction.
Oh, I didn't check it after the pin 9 change.
It shouldn't have changed because that pin only handles audio. So
all right, well, I'll check it tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah,
my eyes are like ready to fall out.
Yeah, me too. I'm falling asleep over here. If we go any further, I'm gonna start giving you wrong. I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, connect pin 9 to your butt. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end this then, because
well, we did accomplish. We had some good jokes tonight about our friend from Villanova. I mean Rutgers. The type who eats lots of burritos. Wastes all his allowance on these stupid burrito restaurants that seem to appear more and more around college towns. That's what college kids do, is they waste their money on rice and beans wrapped in a tortilla shell that smells like ammonia. That's what freaking college kids do. And then you go home and you drink beer, and it's just not cool. So I'm glad you didn't show up, Connor. I'll see you in Vegas. Bye.
All right, bye. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for joining TechNet. We'll be back next week.